All right, guys, this is a wild night. It's so crazy. I still have myself on mute. We are live. This is the Shillan and Duffy show brought to you by Sherdog.com, recapping UFC 327, Prochazka versus Ulberg versus Prochazka in Miami, Florida. I am your host. My name is Keith Shillan. Joining me, as always, is the senior editor of Sherdog.com, the great Ben Duffy. Ben, how you doing, my man?
I am a little punchy right now. It's been a hell of a ride. I mean, just get this out of the way. This is the easy card of the year so far. And I say that after a disappointing main event, which is normally the kind of thing that sours me, but just the sheer volume of stuff we have to talk about. And the sheer number of things we figured out about this sport and the UFC's divisions tonight is just insane.
I mean, there's some things I don't know. There's a lot of things I haven't figured out. That's why I'm in a state of confusion. Yeah, I definitely think, we have card of the year. I think we have the fight of the year. We may have, we don't do moment of the year, but the main event might have been the moment of the year. There's a lot of stuff we got to talk about. I was running around the house doing things while the countdown was going. I'm a little out of breath. Let's get right into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys. We try to get to as many comments as possible. Let's start right at the main event. Former champion Yuri Prochazka took on rising light heavyweight Carlos Ulberg for the vacant title, the title that Alex Pereira decided to give up as he tries to get his third title at the White House card. We both picked Ulberg. We both picked knockout. But we picked him late. That was not the case. He won by first round knockout in one of the wildest. Going from, oh man, I feel bad for the guy. The guy worked all this way. He made it this way. And he's not even got his chance to clunk. Yeah, I can't imagine that someone's in here who didn't watch it, but seconds into the fight, a couple exchanges in, and Carlos Ulberg looks like his knee popped out. And obviously, both me and Ben are not a doctor, but everything that he threw, he was falling down. He threw a high kick at one point. I don't know why he threw a high kick. He threw a high kick at one point, and his knee gave out on him. He was just flopping all over the place. It looked like that we got to get this very anticlimactic UFC title win for Yuri Prochazka. Like Yuri's going to kick his leg, and finally, he's going to fall down, and the referee's going to just stop the contest. Or worse, Yuri kicks the leg and then comes up with a big hook and just knocks him out or something like that. But then instead it was the other way. Yuri walks in and Carlos Ulberg absolutely connects on the left hand, pretty much knocked him out with just that one punch, but followed up with some ground and pound afterwards to capture the UFC title for the first time. I don't know. I said there's a lot of confusion. I don't know how I feel about this one.
I know how I feel about it.
Okay.
Or I at least know the decision we have to make. Because if you're in the chat right now, or you're just sitting at home with steam coming out of your ears, debating whether Yuri Prochazka was being noble or just being stupid, just ask yourself this. Is this a competitive sport? Is it an entertainment industry, or does it fall somewhere on the continuum in between? Because Yuri Prochazka got to where he is in the first place by doing wild stuff. He fights every minute of every one of his fights like it's the last 15 seconds of a Max Holloway fight. Think about this. He had Carlos Ulberg dead to rights, and he literally points to his knee, says, "Don't worry about that," then points to his own face and says, "Come up and punch me in the face." And he was true to his word. He went back to kicking the leg, but not until they had engaged, broken it up. He wasn't laying any traps. He was just doing samurai, I'm willing to fall on my sword to have an honorable fight with you type stuff. And whether you find that, again, noble or just silly, because you're talking about a guy who may have staked half of his paycheck on that honor, not to mention a an incremental portion of his next 5 or 10 paychecks, it's 100% in character for him. Like Carlos Ulberg might be the best 205 pounder in the UFC right now, but Yuri Prochazka is still the most 205 pounder. We constantly talk about 205 as the wild man's division, the low fight IQ division where guys have offensive weapons and physical talent and just find ways to lose. That's Yuri Prochazka to a T. Like this is completely on brand for him. And like, I don't feel especially worse about Prochazka, because here's the thing. We're probably going to get a rematch next. They're going to give we're going to see whether the recovery for Ulberg is 3 months or 9 months. I guess is what we're really going to get.
See, what I'm confused about, like, I watched Carlos Ulberg win by knockout, and I'm saying to myself, is he the best 205 pounder, on planet? That's obviously talking about Alex Pereira at heavyweight, or was this Yuri put his guard down? He caught him clean. It was a lucky punch. And I hate to say like lucky punch, but you get my point. Like, was this fluky?
Everybody hits hard at 205.
Sure.
But there aren't many people that were going to throw that left hook with no plant leg, because his right leg is the one that's dead. So he's got a dead plant leg and he just nails him perfectly accurate, hard enough to put him down.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm watching this and I'm not really believe, like, I see Yuri, he's saying, oh, I was trying to do the honorable thing and I let my guard down. And I know he said like, hey, let's swing it out. I think it had less to do like I'm having mercy on you more than I don't want to win like this. Like, I want a spectacular highlight reel. I want to knock you next week. Let's swing it out and let's have it like if I want to win the title, I don't want to win the title like Josh Van won. Sure. I want to win the title like Max Holloway did against Justin Gaethje. I want to win like that.
Well,
so
here's a perfect example. We lionize Max Holloway for that because it worked out for him.
Sure.
If Gaethje had crushed him in that moment, we all would have been arguing, oh, is Max Holloway the coolest guy ever, or was that the dumbest shit we ever saw? Like, if you judge this solely based on the results, you're stuck with what you get.
Yeah, and the reason why I have that, like, throw that mercy out of there, because it was like for a brief second, and then 20 seconds later he was back to kicking his leg. Yeah. So it wasn't like he was kicking the leg and then all of a sudden his leg gave out and he's like, okay, I'm not kicking the leg anymore. I'm just gonna.
And the leg he'd been kicking wasn't the one that got injured anyway. Ulberg hurt his own leg.
Yeah, it was
throwing offense. Yeah,
yeah, but still, like, you kick the leg, you put the and everything he was everything he was reacting like he's on one leg. Now, what I want to, I don't want to make this all about Yuri, because Carlos Ulberg just did something absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, the guy's on one leg. I tweeted out and said, "This is MMA's version of Kerry Strug in the 1996 Olympics. Her knee is absolutely blown out. She's." I don't know what score she had to get. I don't know. Well, but whatever.
I love that you're bringing this one up, because when we realized the next day that the U.S. team had enough points to win the team gold anyway, it didn't make her any less admirable for it.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
It turned out to be. See, you don't even remember that it turned out to be pointless.
Oh,
you remember the moment. Yeah.
No, I do remember. I thought she had to land it to win the gold, and then when
that's what we all thought in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, she won it and she landed it, and then they, and I think of Kurt Gibson and the Olympics coming off and hitting a walk-off home run on one leg.
Olympics.
What would I say? World Series. Walking up in the World Series and hitting the home run to win the World Series. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what other versions of MMA do we have like this? Where we've had guys who've won big things being injured and you find out afterwards, but have like in the moment, guy gets injured, they're done. Wrap it up. It's over. To pull off something like this, I mean,
it's like Scott Smith versus Pete Sell, only with actual higher stakes. It's not two like mid-card guys fighting for their jobs. Yeah,
and Scott Smith wasn't a like fluke injury.
No, he got punched in the guts. Yeah.
He was, 99% done. He just had 1% left in him. I mean, we've seen a couple of those. Yeah, like someone said, you're old. Talking about Kerry Strug. Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. That man talking right there, Alex Aboud. Best man at each other's weddings. One of my oldest friends. Used to write for Sherdog for a minute. There are two guys that I knew in high school that got sports journalism degrees. One is Alex Aboud, a San Diego area commercial real estate maven. The other is Dan Helly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know. There's not much left to talk about this. I mean,
No,
I think
it's all about matchmaking now. It's all about talking about what's next for all these light heavyweights.
It's tough to matchmake because we don't know how long Carlos Ulberg's going to be out. Was this a quick like dislocation thing where, maybe he's going to stay off it for a couple of weeks and he can return, by end of summer? Or is this something that needs surgery and he's not going to be back until this time next year?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I mean, the last thing we need is another interim title or strip a guy or any shit.
The entire light heavyweight title picture is at the hospital getting MRIs right now. Yeah. Between, how bad Mirzakhanov is, how bad Ulberg is. Yeah.
I know Yuri, he's the most marketable guy in the division. He's the fan favorite. I mean, he was the guy that everyone was cheering for. Arena was cheering for. But and you're not going to like who I matchmake, but there has to be some kind of, especially because I'm going to contradict myself once I give you my who should fight for the title. But there has to be some kind of merit. And I'm like, dude's lost 3 title fights in a row.
Mm-hmm.
He got stopped in all 3 of them.
He did.
Like, how many more title shots are we going to give this
guy? As many as he can win his way to, but I don't think he's automatically back at the front of the line here.
Yeah, and I see how some people saying, that has to be run back.
No, if he was the incumbent champ, I would say yes. But he's just another former champ who lost his title in the cage. Yeah. So yeah, like if this was Ulberg challenging Prochazka, I'd be like, yeah, we should probably do an immediate rematch, assuming Ulberg is able. As it is, Prochazka might have to go back and win 1 or 2, but the good news for him is it's still light heavyweight, so he's going to get his chance.
I mean, everyone's been focused on how bad heavyweight is right now. I mean, light heavyweight is just as bad. And the one difference between the 2 divisions, heavyweight has some kind of star power potential. There is, there's still, I'm not completely convinced that John Jones is done. It's still a possibility. Obviously Tom Aspinall, if he returned, now they just signed Gable Stevenson today. Like there's some names. Josh Hogan had, he's got some star moments. I mean, it's probably unlikely, but Francis Ngannou is, I know he's fighting for the MVP thing, but he's a possibility or something like that. There's not much. I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm like, who deserves the title shot? Deserves Ankalaev. Does anybody want to see Ankalaev fight for a title?
Ankalaev's coming off a loss. Like, I would be fine letting somebody who's coming off at least a couple wins in a row.
But who is that in the division? Who is that?
I mean, names I'm going to throw out. People are asking who's a prospect in this division. Navajo Sterling is a prospect in this division. You may not think of him as a prospect. You may not think of him as a prospect, but Paulo Costa, if I can skip a couple segments, Paulo Costa might be the second biggest bull of the night after Josh Hokett, and the biggest bears of the night are probably Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker, because they had the chance to cut way to the front of the line tonight, and they collectively shit the bed hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to matchmake. I mean, you go down you go down the rankings and you just look at names, and I'm like, Claire Arantry just lost his last fight, and Magomed Ankalaev's coming off a loss, and Mirzakhanov just lost, and Paulo Costa won 1 fight in the division. Like, I'm like, who's got the longest winning streak in the division right now? Dustin Jacoby, Navajo Sterling. Like, you're not giving those guys title shots. So, the guy I'm going to give a title shot to, when merit is not an option, I'm going marketability. Now, the most marketable guy is Yuri Prohaska. No doubt. We both agree with that. But look, but we just saw it. I'm going with the guy who fought in the co-main event. I know he's only got one win in the division, but he's probably the next biggest star. He's exciting. He's good on the mic. He's funny. Like, he's, the girls like him. I'm giving it to Paulo Costa. I'm doing Olberg. Dude, okay, is that the most handsome match of all time? Carlos Olberg versus Paulo Costa?
Probably. Like, I'd have to look back at Alan Joban's record and see if, see if he ever fought Elias Theodoro or something. Yeah.
Like the first round, they get to fix their hair, or it'd be like the greasers, where they one of them was slicking the hair back before they fight. And it's tough because I'm I feel kind of dirty saying let's give it to Paulo Costa, but what else is there?
There is. Hokit's weighing in around 227, 228 pounds for his heavyweight fights. I guarantee. Well, we know that Johnny Walker says he weighs 242. In camp.
All right, so we already found our listener of the night. Astral Karate 10 is the listener of the night. Nice job. I guess you can make an argument for Ankalaev. I mean, he did lose his last fight, but his last win was against Alex Pereira. I'm doing Costa. What was the matchup you were doing?
My thought was wait and see if they can do a rematch, but I like Costa better, honestly. I like moving on, letting Prohaska go be with his baby, decide whether he's going to be samurai dad or samurai, and just kind of regroup.
Yeah, but he's not going to go be this day. He's going to go in the wilderness for 40 days and get tempted by the devil. If Yuri wants to get back in there, I'm giving him the winner of Yamahovitz and Bogdan Guskov. Hoping Guskov.
Okay, here's the thing: if Guskov wins, he might have the longest win or at least unbeaten streak of any active 205er in the division. I mean, we didn't really mention Guskov as the next dude, but if you're just going by the math, I think he's on a 6 or 7 fight unbeaten streak at this point. I
mean, if he puts on an absolute shellacking, I know Yamahovitz is 972 years old, but if he puts on what Cub Swanson did to Nate Landwehr tonight, if he puts on a performance like that, he probably is getting the fight.
Yeah.
What 80s movie did I mention? I mentioned an 80s movie?
Can't remember.
Yeah, there you go. Or maybe we're too old. That's why we can't remember. It is way past my bedtime. I'm sure I did throw some 80s reference out there. Is there anything else you want to say right now about this?
No.
You know what I do love is, you have the whole New Zealand team and all that, and Izzy's not the title holder right now.
Nope.
It's Carlos Olberg. Carlos Olberg is the
flying the flag.
Yeah, he's
for City Kickboxing.
Alpha. Yeah, he's the alpha in City Kickboxing right now. It's not Izzy. They're complete opposite directions right now. Speaking of Izzy, his former opponent Paulo Costa made his UFC it's not his UFC light heavyweight debut because
it's his intentional light heavyweight debut.
Yeah, it's on purpose. Yeah. One of those where his opponent didn't get informed that it's light heavyweight the day before. Paulo Costa moved up, take on undefeated Asamat Murzakanov, and Paulo Costa won by 3rd round TKO. I think he looked great. I think he looked intelligent. He had a game plan. He was sticking and moving, and he looked quick. I think he looked good.
On paper, Costa's best career win is over Yoel Romero, but this one may end up aging out as his best win in terms of who he beat, how that win aged, how he looked in the fight. Because you're right. He looked sensational, and he's fighting a guy in Murzakanov that nobody had even really given him much of a hard time in the UFC. He's so methodical and Costa made him uncomfortable. Costa hit him cleanly, hurt him, and we'll have to wait to see what was wrong with the arm, but broke him some combination of physically and mentally. I'm not of the school right now that Mirzakhanov just wilted mentally, because the way he went down, like elbow tucked, like even as he's laying down, he's favoring that and not letting it touch the ground. I have the feeling that something got hurt in that final barrage of high kicks. Again, I'm not a doctor. And even if I were, that wouldn't make me his doctor. We'll wait to see what comes out of those x-rays and MRIs tonight. But my suspicion is that there was an injury on the way to the end. That does not detract from what Costa did. Because, I mean, we say on the previews all the time, and it's not like it's secret knowledge to us, high kicks do damage even when they're blocked. And high kicks impress the judges even when they're blocked. Hell, high kicks impress the judges even when they miss. But I don't want to take 5 of Costa's high kicks in a row on the same arm. Fuck that.
No, you look at Paulo Costa, and it's like, he ain't missing leg day. Like, yeah, he's not Marco Krokop with his high kick, but the impact is probably similar. Like, you could just tell. And I mean, what I liked most about Costa is when in the second round, when Mirzakhanov was done, they had his best round, hurt Costa. At one point, like, Costa completely fell over in like a grappling exchange, and I was like, oh, like, Mirzakhanov's gonna stand defeated. Like, he's gonna knock him out either the end of the second or he's gonna knock him out in the beginning of third. Costa dug down deep, took over the third, had his best round, and then got a knockout. I'm like, that's not what I expected from Costa. Like, he has that, and I'm like, something has changed in this guy. I mean, this is not the guy that had an all-time ugly fight against Luke Rockhold. Like,
it's not that guy. And I was wrong about a lot tonight. This was one of my worst nights. Like, this is the first time I was under 500 on picks in probably a year.
Wait. No,
dude. Every fight we disagreed on, you were right and I was wrong. But all I'm saying here is, there are a number of takes that I was wrong on this one.
That's
but
usual.
Yeah, my wrong takes on Costa go back years, because I thought this guy was going to be out of the sport by now, long out of the sport, back when he had the miss weight by 10 pounds, blame it on red wine, fire my entire camp and hire my girlfriend as my manager, get hair plugs in between fights. Like, I was like, okay, this dude's out. He's out. But not only is he still around, he's back, and he is looking better than ever in ways that indicate that he is still committed to his career, or maybe not even still, maybe committed to his career in a way he never was before. Maybe there's something to his whole thing of, I'm a family man now, I'm a man of God. Like, that's entirely possible. Which people do between the ages of 25 and 35. I mean, most of us. I didn't, but good on Costa, because the thing about him is, for a 35-year-old, he actually doesn't have that many fights. No, he got to a title shot quick in the UFC. He's had long layoffs when he was doing his weird, dumbass stuff. Like, the rest of his body is just as fresh as his hairline right now. He could actually do some damage here.
Yeah, I mean, you got a guy he fought one time every year, sometimes one time every 2 years. Yeah, I was, to me, the low was like when he was like fighting Luke Rockhold, and he won, but I was like, oh my god, Luke Rockhold's done, and this fight is so ugly. And but that is not the case. And I mean, obviously at light heavyweight, we just talked about how bad the division is. Like, and I know he's not talking about going back to middleweight, but stay at light heavyweight. Like, it's pretty obvious. You look good. You just picked up one of the biggest wins. Like, we're having this debate on who should get the title shot. If Mirzakhanov won tonight, like how it looked like it was starting to go in the second, we wouldn't be having this debate. We'd be just saying, "Oh, Mirzakhanov is fighting for the title." Instead, he won
unimpressively. Even if he won a crappy fight against Costa looking crappy, by default, he'd be the guy.
Having that zero in the loss column, it goes a long way. I mean, and then obviously the other thing is, like, besides the division being shallower and him looking good tonight, he's also had weight issues in the past. So it's not like it's new. Yeah. Like, oh, it's not Robert Whittaker moving up and you're like, what are you doing, Robert Whittaker? Like, okay, so you want to eat some more cheeseburgers at the end of your life instead of, like, Costa had problems in his prime. The other thing, Mirzakhanov, like, he looked very, he had a moment in the second where the pressure was starting to get a little bit, he was starting to go to the body a little more, but early on, way too like predictable. He just kept looking. He just like had this like he throw this like not even jab. It's just like trying to distract with his right hand in front of the face, just to wind up and throw a big overhand left that 95% of the time Costa was out of the way before it was even like dispatched.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had moments in this fight, so I don't want to like throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it was a poor showing for him in my opinion. Like his stock dropped. Besides the normal losing losing your O and everything.
Yeah, like again, we'll wait to see the particulars of the last 15 seconds of the fight, but it doesn't erase what happened on the way there, because as Pafron said, Mers did some good stuff in the fight, but generally speaking, it was a amazing showing for Paulo Costa from start to finish, and in a way that we weren't expecting to see from him. Like, he dug deep, he fought smart. I still don't know if I like the idea of light heavyweight Paulo Costa in a 5-round fight, but I think he's earned the right to find out.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't slowing down in the third. I mean, like almost he had a second wind. I mean, I know it was very early in the third, but
no, but he looked tired at the end of the first. Just, he kind of composed himself, and yeah,
I think he has. We've talked about this in the past, but like I actually remember having it in my notes that he's a guy that he looks more tired than he is. He doesn't disguise it well, But so I was giving Costa the title shot. You didn't mind that idea, but did you have another name for Costa, or are you 100% through the title shot?
No. If not a title shot, the other name I had for him was Sterling. At this point, I mean, if Olberg is in a spot where he can defend in a reasonable time, then that kind of freezes Sterling out for the time being anyway. So what better to do than, either give Sterling an impressive scalp or, make an even better case for Costa. But
but Sterling is in a tough situation. Obviously, the division is very shallow, but his teammate is the champion. Like that's
what I'm saying. Like if Olberg can defend in the next, say, 4 to 5 months, then give me Costa versus Sterling. Yeah,
but I just mentioned like the fact that they're actually teammates too, Olberg and Sterling. So, he's the prospect right now in the division, and his teammate's a champion. As far as Mirzakhanov, what'd you have for him fighting next?
I had a blank because I need to wait and see whether he can fight in 3 months or 9 months. Yeah,
fair enough. I'm doing like it's a perfect world. He's fine. He can fight in a couple months. I was having a hard time finding like an appropriate match. I'm like, he's undefeated. He was undefeated. He lost his first. Like, I don't want to drop him off too much. I'm sitting there like, who do I match him up with? I'm giving him this guy who fought on this card. I'm going to give him Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, I mean, Reyes or Walker kind of makes sense at that point. Gustave if he loses.
Yeah. So those were two like pretty highlights of the night. Costa, obviously the Olberg. I mean, to me, the Olberg one will be talked about forever. I mean, that's one of those, like, I always put in like the forever moments. So you have some great fights, and you're like, oh, that's really fun, but there's not like forever moments. Olberg was the forever moment. That wasn't the only forever moment.
Nope.
Third fight from the top, Curtis Blades took on Josh Hokett. Josh Hokett won a unanimous decision, but that does not tell the whole story.
It does not.
This might be now. There's the when you have heavyweights slugging it out for 15 minutes and absolute bonkers, no defense. You got to have that. Oh my God, this is so sloppy. Both guys suck. Like, you always got to have those people. And I actually understand the argument. But dude, this is one of the greatest fights of all time. It was heavyweight's version of Griffin Bonner, in my opinion, where it's not the most technically sound and this and that. Yeah. But it's way more technically sound than Griffin and Bonner was. Yeah. But different era.
Yeah.
But holy shit, you can't tell me this ain't one of the most entertaining fights you've ever seen.
No, it was incredibly entertaining, start to finish. Like, I was at the edge of my seat. I was kind of drawn in emotionally in a way that I'm not usually in a fight between two fighters that I don't know personally. Like, I was gripped by this one.
Yeah, so was I. I was yelling out to my wife. before the fight started, I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like sitting in the kitchen, like, hey, can I see watch fights with me? Like, every once in a while she'll come down and spend the night watching the fights with me, and it's rare, but I was trying to get her to do it, and she never did. And then I was kind of giving her shit. I'm like, because she heard me listen to the interview with Hokett this morning. I was like catching up on like pre-fight interviews I didn't watch and stuff. And she was like, who's this idiot? And I started calling him her favorite fighter. I'm like, oh, your favorite fighter's up. And then she didn't come down. And I'm like, this is what, honey, your favorite fighter that might have the greatest heavyweight match of all time. Like, this is nuts. And she came down and watched for like a second. She's like, wait, this is only first. I go, yeah, it's the first round. And I'm like, yeah, the next 2 rounds are probably like terrible, and then the next 2 rounds were just as great. So what I was saying about like being confused, I'm like, is Hokett legit? Like, he just beat Curtis Blades, a top ranked heavyweight, or is Curtis Blades kind of, I don't want to say shot, but has he really declined?
Astral Karate brings up the question that's because there are certain things that really stood out to me as individual surprises in this very surprising fight. And they raise more questions than they answer. Like, here, question number one, I don't know if Blades is shot. Like, he's clearly declining to some point. He's taken a ton of wear. He's old and has a style that, requires a lot of exertion. But of all the things I would have had for on my bingo card for this fight, Hokett pitching a basically complete shutout on Blades' wrestling was not on there. Well, I figured.
The first round, Blades took him down and held him down for a while and beat him up. In the first, it was the second and third that he didn't take him down.
Okay, he got one takedown. Like, I thought we were going to have a levels to this matchup in the wrestling, even if Hokett ended up knocking Blades out on the feet. Like, I thought.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it would look like the end of the first, where like Blades on top of him and he can't get off of him. Yeah.
I was surprised to see Blades take 300 clean power punches to the head and not go down. And I'm not sure. It's hard for me to imagine that Blades' chin suddenly got better at this stage in his career. So, while Hokett's hand speed is probably going to be better than just about everybody at heavyweight, not named Alex Pereira, he's probably going to be a lower power guy, which it's not shocking. He's a 6'1", 225 pound heavyweight. That was a little surprising, just because Hokett had really hurt most of the other people he'd hit cleanly. This was hell of a performance by both guys. It kind of like everyone says about Griffin Bonner, like it takes two participants to make a fight this good,
Yeah, I think another reason why, and guys, put in the chat, just put one word, just put in Hokett or Blades, just that one. And the question is if you think Hokett is legit and he had a good showing, put Hokett. If you think it's more about Blades had a bad showing and Blades is kind of like seriously declining fast, put the word Blades in the chat just so we kind of figure out how people are feeling. It seems like there's a lot of Blades is done. What I think happened is I think the pace was so much that Blades obviously he got tired. It was pretty obvious. But I think that's why he wasn't wrestling. He was trying to wrestle. He shot a couple times, but his shots were very sloppy. His head was down. He was tired. So I think that's why his wrestling wasn't successful in the second and third. I think he was just too tired. As far as I see somebody said, isn't Hokett's, I think he said world-class wrestling. And it's like,
he's a one-time All-American, came in 5th in 2019 at 197 pounds.
Yeah.
And of course, someone had to bring up that he did pretty well against Bo Nick.
No, he didn't do well. Bo smashed him. Bo smashed him. Like it was like Bo gave him credit. It was like, I saw the tweet Bo put out like, oh, Hokett's actually one of the guys who actually went after me and like tried to beat me instead of stalling. And Bo still, there's a reason why Bo, I know Bo majored like 97% of his of the country in his senior year. So he like majored him or something like that, teched him, I don't know. The reason I'm asking is I don't know. There's definitely he's fast, and there is some argument to that undersized heavyweight. I know I've heard people argue there's like a peak size for heavyweight, like anything over about 235, 240 is too heavy. It's rare to have those like hulking heavyweights. I mean, when was the last time like a hulking heavyweight? I mean, the last time a hulking heavyweight was like a champion was Brock Lesnar. But even Brock Lesnar is a different Hulk. He's a freak athlete. He's like he was a hulking heavyweight who didn't move like a Hulk. He moved like a friggin' welterweight.
But you think of your most dominant heavyweights, you get your Fedor, your Prime DC, your Kane. They're all between 230 and 245.
Randy Couture.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're getting to the point now where people like Ngannou and Aspinall that legit come in 260 or above are at the top. So maybe the whole sport is creeping in that direction. But
Aspinall's pretty. Yeah, but Aspinall's probably like more. What? 250-ish.
Aspinall? I mean, he weighs in around 255, 260. He's not cutting to get to under the limit, no.
Yeah. But still, but you could put him in the bigger ones, yeah. I mean, even Stipe is bigger, but he's still like what, 245?
Stipe?
Yeah.
Stipe came in lighter than DC in their fights. He weighed in at like under 240 for his last couple fights.
DC came in like super fat.
No, I want to say that Stipe was under 240 in most of his last 5 fights. Like he was a lean heavyweight. Yeah.
Which is funny because I met him in person and he's not a small guy. Like I've stood right next to him and like shook his hand, and he's a big he's a big boy. Yeah. The answer is probably both. The answer is probably like Blades isn't a top 5 guy anymore, but like I saw enough from Hokit to be like, yeah, he's fast. He obviously has balls of steel. Like he's got tons of heart. He's got a hell of a chin. He gassed out, but it was also an insanely high-paced fight that every heavyweight's gassing out at that pace.
Yeah, every heavyweight's gassing out at that point. And this is an intangible that's going to matter. He is unafraid of failure. Because you know what? If you get plunked in front of Trump after flipping the bird to your opponent 8 or 9 times, you are such a laughingstock at that point.
He threw
Like at this point, at that point, Hogan was staking more than just like one L in the cage. There was more at stake than just his first L. Like so much of the shine would have been gone if he ended up getting embarrassed there.
Yeah, he threw more middle fingers than he threw like kicks.
Yeah, and to lose while doing that would, I mean, frankly, that'd be some Kevin Holland shit, And we'd all be true. Like dunking on him right now.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, and the thing about his cardio, like, he definitely got tired at times, and it looked like he got really tired, but he won the 3rd round, and I think was it the 2nd round or the 1st round? He lost the 1st round and won the 2nd round. Like I scored the last 2 rounds for him.
I gave Blades the 1st round, which is ironic because that's the one where Blades seemed to come closest to getting finished.
No.
But it was the first 90 seconds of the round versus the last 3.5 minutes. But no. He looked tired in a way that would concern me if he finds himself in a 5-round fight with a contender. But again, Hoka definitely did not lose any stock for me here. Like he cleanly beat a top 5, top 6 fighter, and none of the questions about it are whether he deserved to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the question was, did he deserve the shot against someone that high that quickly? And I think the answer was no, but he showed that he's that level regardless whether he deserved it or not. And I mean, the guy was the absolute star of the week. Whether you like the personality or not, I'm not crazy about the personality. I hated like the Mexican guy. Like it was super, like, I don't know, it was super weird.
And doing that in Miami, like if he doesn't understand the difference between Mexicans and Cubans, I mean, he's going to get, all right, anyway.
Yeah. then he like then he was doing like the schizophrenic thing going on, and I'm like, it was so bad, and I'm like, what? Like, I just watched that the monster that Netflix does. They do the monster, and it's like a 6 or 7 episode like mini series about a serial killer and stuff. They did it on let's see, they did it on the Menendez brothers. They did it on. I've watched every one of them. Jeffrey Dahmer. They did it on Jeffrey Dahmer.
Sure.
And the last one was Ed Gein, who's the inspiration behind Psycho and Silence of the Lambs and Texas Chainsaw. Like he's inspired a lot. Anyways, but like it's a schizophrenic thing, and I'm like, dude, he's like doing that, and like I've been in rooms with people who are schizophrenic. I'll never forget one time when I was like brand new police officer. I was this girl had about 8 personalities talking to her at once, and to the point where I was in a hospital room, just me and her. And I called my wife, and I could call her because she was that far out of like. I tried talking to her, she even knows I was there, and I put it on my wife's like. She'd hear like the girl's voice, and all of a sudden she hear this like weird like adult guy voice, and she's like, "Who's in there with you?" I'm like, "Honey, that's her." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just me and her in this room. Like she doesn't even hear me right now. It's like it's that crazy." So, not that I'm not trying to like I don't know why I'm going off on schizophrenic, but I think my thing is like you're doing a bit on like being like schizophrenic. I'm like, and there's people who suffer with this, and you know what I mean. I'm not the like crying hard, don't be PC. It's just not good. The person, but people talk about him, and there's somebody out there who likes it, but he talked himself into some big shots. He got himself on the White House card, so obviously the fight, did it too. But he is the star of this weekend, no doubt.
Oh yeah, no question.
You know what? I think probably the most impressive thing he did this weekend is that he still did his like rhyming trash talk bit. He still did it with Joe Rogan. He had this huge like 16 bar thing, and I'm like, that was after he just got punched in the face like 400 times by like 265-pound heavyweight.
I mean, maybe that's what his 4th round cardio would have looked like. He had enough breath to do that.
Yeah, and I just got winded running around the house quickly during the break. RC, I don't know how to say his name.
RC Nordo.
RC Nordo 4366.
That's RC Kim. That's RC Kim.
Okay, RC
Kim. Guys, stop changing your handles. It confuses Keith.
Yeah, that is true. He talked about Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. He underrated serial. I mean, I don't want to rate serial killers, but I did see the Netflix documentary on it, and it's one of the best documentaries you'll see if you check out the Netflix documentary on the Night Stalker. So we already know what's going on with Hogan. I think it's a perfect matchup. I think it's the personality of Derek Lewis, because like Hogan's going to do all this crazy bit, and then Derek Lewis is going to say something wicked funny like at the press conference, and then you're doing it at the White House, and that card needed more star power. I mean, say it's getting overshadowed right now.
It needed another fight where an American was guaranteed to win.
Well, that's true. I know.
I mean, if we're being honest,
like, what are you thinking? Anyways, but what are you doing with Blaze? Is there anything left on him? Are you doing any big matches with him yet left?
I mean, I have a couple upcoming matchups that I'd give him the loser of. Like maybe give him the loser. Well, he's already fought Volkov, but if Volkov beats Walter Cortez Acosta, the loser of Pavlovich versus Taliesin Teixeira, just give him Walter Walker right now and see if Walker can heel hook him when he knows it's coming. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably
those are the names. Yeah,
that's probably the highest level guy for Blades right now. Is like a Walter Walker. I'm giving him Tyrell Fortune.
Boom. Because here's the thing: if Fortune wins, he just becomes the new Curtis Blades of the division for the next 5 years.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That's a good point.
Just the guy that if you can't wrestle, he's probably gonna cook you.
All right, let's go. Let's do this next fight pretty fast. So it was a absolute fantastic card of the year. All that. There's always it seems like every time we talk about a card of the year, there's always like a one stinker. The one that people thought was going to absolutely deliver, Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker, was an all-time stinker. Dominic Reyes won a split decision. I actually scored it for Walker. I'm in the minority. MMA decisions. It was 11-5 for Reyes. I went 29-28 Walker. I gave him the first 2 rounds, and I gave Reyes the third. But it was one of those, like, I don't give a shit who wins it. Like, it was that bad. How'd you score the fight?
I actually gave Walker the first 2 rounds, but honestly, just get both these guys off my TV. I'm not mad at somebody who scored it for Reyes. I'm mad at Walker for letting somebody beat him, landing literally single-digit strikes per round.
Yeah, I'm not mad for anybody who scored it for Reyes or Walker, but everyone who scored it was mad. that I can say, I was watching Walker and I'm like, he's easily winning when he's throwing kicks from distance. Reyes can't get past the range. And then I'm watching Reyes throw one single strike, and Reyes is fighting to not get knocked out. He's fighting like I just got knocked out in my last fight. Here's a guy who does crazy wild shit. He's bigger than me, which is so rare for Reyes. I remember that at the face-off, they looked pretty big, but today in the cage, Reyes looked like a smaller heavyweight. Well,
which is
Johnny
bizarre.
Walker looked like free. He looked like Giant Gonzalez in the friggin' WF days. There you go. There's your WF reference for you guys. Like he just was friggin' huge.
Johnny El Gigante Walker. Oh
yeah. So like Reyes is still like freaking the Undertaker size. Like he's not small, but Giant Gonzalez came out. It was a little different. Let's matchmake these guys. I already gave Reyes Mirzakhanov. What are you doing, Reyes? Because it's still relevant. The ugliest division.
Dude, he's relevant, but you give him someone like Sterling. Okay. Like just let Sterling keep the undefeated record, presumably, if Reyes fights like this, and Reyes is a name that could merit putting it in like a co-main event.
Yeah, I was giving Walker. I had Sterling written down. Now I was Sterling for Walker, but we're in the same room. I mean, yeah,
that's the time Walker would decide to wake up and just brain Sterling with
you do that
like
shit.
A fly. Yep.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, these both guys, like everyone's like, oh, put this on the main card. They're gonna do wild shit, and then like they didn't do a single wild shit. Like what?
No.
It reminds me of when I was in. I do extremely for short story time with Keith. Which, by the way, I was at a girls' softball tournament game. My daughter's team was playing my old high school, and one of the girls on the high school, her mom and me grew up together, and I saw her. She was the very first girl I ever kissed. So, anyways, shout out to her. But I remember I had another girlfriend. That's what I thought of it. I had another girlfriend. I was in like, I don't know, 11th grade. She did karate, like Kempo karate or something. And she wanted me to go to some tournament where they're like, I don't know, doing like freaking some person's flipping nunchucks and then another person's doing like this little dance thing where someone attacks them. They block here and they block here. But then there was like the main one. They actually had like fighting. They had like the headgears on. They fought. And I'm watching the ugliest fighting ever, like white belts fighting each other. And I'm like, but I'm like waiting, like, oh yeah, but like it's gonna get better. And then it gets up to like yellow belts and it like looks just like the white belts. And I'm like, yeah, but all of a sudden like brown belts come out and I'm like, this is still really ugly. And then the black belts come out and I'm like, they're like Master freaking Funaki versus Master Kung Chung. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope. Like this is gonna be some Jackie Chan. Someone's gonna do a backflip while they're fighting. And it looked just like when I was watching the white belts. And I'm like, when's the cool shit? When's the cool spinning shit? Like, that's what I was feeling watching this. Like, when's the cool spinning shit's going to happen? Like, I see you guys doing the dance thing, doing all the cool shit. Why aren't you doing it when you actually fight? So that's my quick story time with my experience with Kempo karate.
Master Funaki, Master Chung Chung, both really overrated, though.
remember telling like her instructor, like that wasn't the main instructor, it was like I don't know, like a junior instructor, like a high school kid or whatever. He was like a black belt. He was like, I don't know. I think he was trying to get with my girlfriend. But I remember telling him like, yeah, you do realize like every wrestler in my team could beat the. I was wrestling them like would beat the fuck out of you, right? like your parents are spending money every single month for years for you to go to this, and we would just beat the piss out of you. Anyways, before that, Cub Swanson made his final walk to the cage as he took on Nate Landwehr. Cub Swanson winning by first round knockout. I want to talk about the other guy first. I want to talk about Nate Landwehr. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
I think the wrong guy retired tonight.
I am completely on board with that. I mean, I joked seriously on the preview that like Cub Swanson is 42 and they managed to find a guy that he's going to be 10 times faster than in the cage. I underestimated it. He was 15 times faster than Nate Landwehr in the cage. He looked like the younger fighter. He fought like the younger fighter. I'm completely on board with you.
I just want to address this 30C West said me leaving Sherdog to do true crime podcast. I actually got offered I don't know, some guys like YouTube to like do, he must have saw me on this or something, to do police commentary. And it was like, I don't know, race car type people like harass cops and he wanted me to give like an expert on what the cop did wrong or what the guy should have said. And I'm like, dude, I'm not the person to bash cops. That's not happening. Not to mention, I don't do a lot of traffic stuff anyways. But I just thought it was funny. Cub Swanson looked fucking fantastic, dude. Like he looked the best he's ever looked.
Yep.
Like ever.
Yeah. And here's the thing. He's been a high level fighter for literally over 15 years at this point. He's fought pretty much the best in the world, fight in and fight out for that long. He's coming back after over a year on the shelf. And I agree with you. Off the top, he looked as good here as he ever has in his entire career. I am always hesitant to tell somebody else when they should walk away from their job for their own good. That just feels really paternalistic to me. But at the same time, I am never going to get in the way of somebody writing a fairy tale ending to their own story. I mean, I was asking, is this the best walk away on top in the UFC since when? I'm going all the way back to like Chris Lytle in like 2011 or something.
I mean, Kansas was pretty good.
Kansas was pretty good, but it was against a completely shop-worn last-minute opponent.
Yeah, like the odds weren't. I mean, this was
Landwehr was the favorite in this fight.
Oh, was it? Okay,
and I don't think he landed a single strike.
Yeah. I think he landed like an inside kick once.
Yeah. Like I agree with Astral Karate. I'm not saying it was a rigged fight.
No,
but it looked like it looked like it might as well have been. It looked like a bad fix on an early Pride card. Like
it looked like the dancing at the karate. Like, okay, you attack me now.
Yeah.
You gotta throw high. I block here. Next person gonna throw. And I watch those, and I'm like, I love to like every like movie in history, and like the guy fights 4 people, and I'm like, I've seen videos when one guy gets jumped by 4 people, and they never attack once at a time. like one guy like hits someone, the other 2 people waiting. Like when does that happen? Anyways, it felt like to me watching this fight, and I was sitting there, I'm like, man, Swanson looks so fast, and I wrote that down. And I'm like, dude, he looked faster than ever. Then I'm like, wow, was he faster than ever, or is it one of these ones like you take the slowest guy in the Olympics, and you throw him in the high school tournament, he looks like the people are like, dude, that's the fastest he ever ran. Like look how much he beat the field by. I'm like, is that why he looks so fast? Like, because I mean, Landwehr looked. He looked like he retired in the first 15 seconds of the fight.
Yep, it was the whole thing where the speed differential was so bad that Landwehr would have his hands in the right place, and Swanson would just still plug him before he could react. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Swanson, and he was accurate. He was mixing it up high, low, dropped him. God, he dropped him how many times? 4 or 5 times he dropped him. Yeah. I'm not just completely sure he's going to be retired. I think it's a good thing that he has a gym and everything like that. Usually when you have another outlet, obviously. I mean, that's like any retirement. When
And
you have something lined up, you're more likely to stay retired than return.
sure.
He's one of the guys where if he does return, 6 months from now, he decides, oh, I want to fight. I never fought this guy. I like to fight this guy or whatever. Or I was been in the gym and sparring with top guys, and I just feel so good. And he's a guy that I'm like, okay, it's not the worst in the world if he returns, because he showed me he still has something.
Yeah, absolutely. He showed that he can still beat at least mid-card guys in one of the deepest divisions in the entire sport. He is walking away about as close to on top as we ever see in this heartbreaking sport. And I mean, he's had his own gym forever, like, UFC Gym Costa Mesa. If you see fighters in the UFC or other orgs from there, I mean, that was his gym forever, but now he's in his own facility that's his. And doesn't have like the UFC brand on it, which, I mean, it's good for him. I'm sure he takes home more of the money. It would, I hope he doesn't come back, just because what could get better? Like his wife and kids got pictures taken with the president and anyone else they wanted to.
Yeah,
if his kids come see him fight again, I guarantee it's not going to be as happy as that. Absolutely. Even if he wins.
Like I said, like I put Chiesa in the same category as a Swanson. Like they're still competitive. They could still win fights. But yeah, like you've been ranked for a long time. You fought in big fights. You're already in the UFC Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'm sure he makes a big pay from fighting, but just leave. It's really nice. I like the packages. I know some people complain about the little like tribute package they do. I think certain guys deserve. I mean, no, Nico Price doesn't deserve it, but certain guys do. And I like the little package they do.
If you have enough highlights that they can make one, you should get one. That's as simple as it is for me.
How we always ask the same question when we do a retirement. How you remember him?
One of the most reliably exciting fighters in the sport for a long career. One of the most underratedly competitive guys in, again, one of the deepest divisions in the entire sport for 15 years. And a guy that if you don't watch all of his fights, you are at risk of misremembering for his worst moments. And I said this every time we previewed one of his fights, which this past week was probably the last time. The 8 seconds of the Jose Aldo fight, like, really just put a false narrative in the mind of, because he was usually the more explosive guy in his fights. He was never a chinny guy. Like if he was a chinny guy, the Doo Ho Choi fight never turns out that way. Choi plunks him in the first 30 seconds of the fight. Like, yeah, he was gritty and exciting at the same time. You don't get many guys that are standout athletes and blood and guts dudes and still being both of those things into their 40s. Like, yeah, really underratedly cool hall of very good fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I never count the UC Hall of Fame as the fight. Like, to me, that's not, you're not in the Hall of Fame. Like, it's a great fight, it's a great moment, but it's like nobody goes in the NFL Hall of Fame because you had one really good football game. You set the record for most passing yards in a football game. You don't go in the Hall of Fame. That's how I kind of feel. Them putting fights in and everything. Will Cub Swanson eventually get in the UFC Hall of Fame?
Yep.
Probably. Because how people have heard us talk about this a million times. It's like the WWF Hall of Fame. Everybody gets in. Freaking Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Coco Beware never sniffed WWF titles are in the Hall of WWF Hall of Fame and everything. If I had to vote, I would take the WWF Hall of Fame serious. I would take it. I would make it a really big, prestigious thing like the NFL Hall of Fame, which is probably the only one that's left that's still any good. Everyone gets in the Basketball Hall of Fame. The standard for the Baseball Hall of Fame is getting so insanely lowered. I wouldn't vote for him.
No.
But that said, he's still like one of my favorite guys. When I think of him, I think about a guy that you said fought in one of the toughest divisions in MMA and was ranked, not ranked top 5, not ranked top 3. He fought for the title, but was never viewed as a serious title threat, But he was a ranked top 10 for probably a decade.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, that range.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. You've
It's
ranked top
extremely
10.
impressive.
You're ranked top 10 at light heavyweight. It's impressive, but a little easier. You're ranked top 10 for a decade of heavyweight. Impressive. Little easier. 145. That's a hell of a accomplishment.
No, he should get into a side business of selling nutritional supplements, because it is one thing to be a fast twitch freak and figure out ways to make your game keep working into your late 30s and even to 40. It's another thing to just still be fast at 40. Like, that's the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
he's not one of these, Arlovsky types that figured out how to keep things together with, chewing gum and duct tape. Like, again, I keep coming back to this because he fought tonight and he looked so fast and so smooth.
Yeah, it looked incredible. I'll put you on the spot real quick, and you don't have to name names, but 145 all time. Where's Swanson ranked? Top 10, top 15?
I bet I get to him before I got to 20.
Oh yeah, before 20 for sure. I was thinking, is he top 10? It's tough because he never won the title, so it's tough. There's 5 or 6 locks ahead of him.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 locks ahead of him,
and then there's probably a
and
10
even
guy.
people that just sort of stopped through the division. Frankie Edgar's ahead of him, even though he spent the bulk of his career at 155.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I just sit down and look at who he's beaten and everything. Yeah, but obviously there's the no-brainers, the Jose Aldos, the Alex Volkanovskis, the Max Holloways. Those are no-brainers ahead of him. But that next, or maybe there's probably another tier above him. Then there's the third tier. He's in that. Yeah. And you know how it goes. The lower tiers you go down, the bigger it gets. So he's probably he's probably from
pyramid.
He's probably from 8 to 16 range. All right, so that was the main card. Let's go to the prelim headliner, the Bellator main event. Patricio Pitbull took on Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico winning by what?
Patricio Pitbull took on somebody that dressed up in Aaron Pico's body and fought kind of like we wished Aaron Pico would have fought for the last 10 years.
Yeah, the whole Aaron Pico is cooked. He's not a real guy. His offensive boxing was so unbelievably crisp. I'm going to say something in this. I mean, you guys know I live in the moment and I try to embellish a little bit for the show. His offensive skills is as good as anybody in MMA.
I said it on the preview, dude. Come on, give me some credit. Right, I said the 3 bullet points underneath them. You might not agree with them, but they're not ridiculous. Best boxer in the division, best wrestler in the division, best athlete in the division. He looked like it tonight.
Yeah, his boxing was better than I thought it was. It looked, and again, it's something that has to do with Pitbull. It does definitely Pitbull's at the end of his career and everything.
Mr. C, easily Pico's best win. Easily, not even close.
Not even close. Because that's the thing. Yeah, he had incredible showings in Bellator.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't have the name to beat. And I know Pitbull's West Coast 8506 is saying Pitbull's almost 40 years old. But okay, if this isn't his best win, then what is? The rematch against Henry Corrales? What are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, even against a clearly diminished version of Pitbull, because most of the things that have always been great about Pitbull are still there. The durability, the speed, the power, they've all taken a little bit of a step back, but he was always an overachiever compared to his physical gifts anyway. He's always been one of the smartest, best coached, just airtight fighters in the sport. It's what made this so shocking, because he hurt Pico early in the first round. He wobbled him with a jab. I'm like, oh, here we go. I've heard this song.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The one that cut his nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Even I think it was in round 2 where Pico shot just a gorgeous fast double from outside, took Pitbull down. Pitbull scoots his butt to the fence, just textbook stand up against the fence, separates, gets away from him without eating any shots on the way out. I'm like, Pitbull is still so smart, still makes no mistakes. Pico's going to make a mistake first, blink first. Pitbull's going to knock him cold.
Sure.
and it'll be the Aaron Pico show again. Nope. Like, I'm not saying Pico is a future champ. I'm not saying he's turned a corner completely, but this is so easily the best single performance of his career because he's always been defined by looking amazing until he just trips over his own feet and dies.
Yeah. I want to agree with you about, I'm not saying he's going to win the title. I'm not saying he's the best. What I am saying, there's not a single matchup you make right now in the division where you're not saying, like, oh, Pico's got a shot to win this one.
Oh,
like, what's the one guy in the division that absolutely trashed you? Like, I'm so convinced this guy trashes at Aaron Pico. Not saying you won't pick him to win, but I mean, like, it's laughable to even make this matchup. This guy's so much better than Pico. No way Pico is.
Hell, until a year ago, I would have said it was LaRon Murphy, just a fundamentally sound, decently sized guy that doesn't make many mistakes. And Pico had him completely on his heels for a couple minutes. Like, yeah, it'd be hard to pick somebody that I'm like, yeah, Pico has no chance against this guy.
All right, hypothetical. Obviously, this is super hypothetical. Alex Volkanovski took on Aaron Pico next. They headline International Fight Week. Volkanovski is the favorite, no doubt.
Yeah.
Volkanovski might pick to win. I mean, I'd never pick against Volkanovski, but the line's pretty close.
Yeah. And if I'm a betting man, I'm not touching the thing with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, okay. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but you get my point. I might be like, all right, you know what? I think Michael Panza's kind of like get a little. All right, I might be exaggerating. You might be right. I might have went too far, but yeah, okay. West Coast. Yeah, I might. All right. You guys got me. All right. It's 1:20 in the morning. I went too far. I've been up since 6 a.m. I was looking at Pico's record, and I'm like, when people are saying, this is not his best one. I mean, who is? I mean, Pedro Carvalho was a pretty big win at the time when he knocked him out. Henry Corrales was, the revenge. You know what? Justin Gonzalez was a really good win at Bellator at that time, but this is still a much bigger. I know Pitbull isn't what he once was, but this is still a much bigger win. You can't argue that.
No, I mean, Pitbull is coming into this off of a win over Dan Ige. Like, Ige is a better win than anyone else. Pico is beaten.
Yeah. I'm hoping, and I just did a podcast this week. Shout out to MMA Fortune Teller. Really, really fun podcast. It was me, 2 other guests. It was a preview show, but it was bet. It was like a little game show style. Like it was 3 of us. We had to. There was 8 fights. We did the 5 main card fights, and then each one of us got to pick a prelim fight we wanted to bet on. And in every fight, you had to preview. They had 1 unit. You had to bet. You had to make a bet, and whichever at the end of the day, the 3 of us, whoever did the best at the end wins. I think I might have won. I'm not sure. Like I wasn't really tracking it tonight, but I will say this. Like, we were talking about it, and one guy was like, he's. Pico's 29. Why has he done it? I'm like, I remember when Robbie Lawler was viewed this way. I'm hoping Pico has that, like, Robbie Lawler turnaround that, when he's 34, where it's just like, oh, man, we used to say this about Pico, that he has no chin and he was never going anywhere, and he's like,
it'd be more like, to me, it would be almost more like the Charles Oliveira thing, where he's just a little too fragile, a little too brittle to ever really turn the corner. Just this incredibly offensively gifted guy, but ultimate glass cannon. If Pico made a turnaround to championship level, it would be on that level.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's obviously, I feel much better about it now than I did 6 hours ago. I mean, and we're not even talking about the obviously, like, besides his, how Chris Barkin was like, he was hurting. I mean, he hurt Pitbull. You don't see a Pitbull get hurt that many times. Say what you want about him. I know he had that knockout overseas, but still, like, generally speaking, his chin is held up. What was the best part is, like, Pico's hurting him, and he's not rushing in. He's playing it safe. Stay calm. I'm going to hit my shots. I'm like, this guy has matured so much in one fight. Pitbull, he's clearly declined, and I'm watching him and I'm seeing how he fights, and he can't have the output he used to have. He's still trying to counter strike, and he's still pretty good at it, but he's counter striking with one punch instead of he didn't throw a combination the entire time.
Yeah.
But I'm watching him and I'm like, he reminds me of Davison Figueiredo, where he's done, his best days are done, but he's still crafty enough to be a tough out, and he's still going to beat guys when you're like, man, he just outcrafted you.
Yeah.
What are we doing next with these guys?
Well, kind of like we've said about multiple people on this card, like Costa, Hokit. They can't take a step back from here. They got kind of pushed into a very relevant fight. They won it. They can't take a step back now. So I'm giving these guys the winner and loser respectively of Yusuf Zalal versus Aljamain Sterling in a couple weeks.
Okay, so Pico takes the winner.
Yeah.
I actually really like that, especially for Pico. I'm doing what I do with my age guys. I'm using them to get over the next prospect. Who
are you feeding Pitbull to? You evil man.
And I'm a Pitbull guy. I like Pitbull. I'm a Pitbull guy. I was pounding the table for Pitbull when it was not cool.
Yeah.
I'm giving him Kevin Vallejos.
I like it. And here's the thing. Pitbull's going to be a live dog there. Again, Pitbull has lost a step, but he has not gotten to, and he's never probably going to get to the point where he gives people easy wins.
No, but I think it's going to look a lot like it did tonight. As far as Pico, I didn't think of the Sterling. And God, if Yusuf Zalal won, God, how exciting would that be? But I'm giving him Gene Silva.
Boom.
Two action guys going at it.
We probably learn a thing or two about Pico's chin and composure in that one. Because if there's one thing I can bank on, it's that Silva will test it.
And the UFC loves Pico. Like 1 or 2 wins, he's fighting for the title. They want him to be title. I mean, you get it. He's a clean cut, good looking guy, well spoken, super exciting.
Sure.
Yeah. Before that, Kevin Holland took on Randy Brown. Holland winning by unanimous decision. And my big notes on this, and I just been my notes so many times like Kevin Holland fights, and I'm still done with like previewing Kevin Holland fights and everything. But my note is just like Kevin Holland needs to grapple more. He is such a good grappler. Offensively, not defensively. You wrestle, you put him on his back, he's in trouble.
Which feeds more into welterweight. Holland is better than middleweight Holland.
Absolutely.
Because welterweight Holland had to work to get there, takes it a little more seriously, and that makes all the difference. Like as tired as I am of previewing his fights, because you give a good scouting report and then he just makes you look stupid by fucking around. Like he's still fun to watch. When he's on, he's a joy to watch. When he's off, he's frustrating. But tonight he was a joy to watch.
Yeah, I see. The escape. Randy Brown had a hell of an escape to get out of a really tight Darce choke from Kevin Holland. That said, that ended the fight for Randy Brown. Once he got out, he was just completely gassed.
Yeah.
That was his I'm not gonna get finished, but I'm also done. Like that. I mean, the third round, he was just basically holding on. Like, I don't want to get finished.
Agreed. And it was kind of a methodical thing on Holland's part, because by that point in the fight, Brown's lead leg had been chewed up so badly that getting something done on the ground, I think somewhere in his mind, was his last remaining route to victory. He really didn't want it on the feet anymore against Holland.
Which could have that could have been. At the point, these guys are still to me, are just gatekeepers. I think they both look good at times, especially Holland. But there's not much stock rising from either one of these guys. As far as Kevin Holland, I'm going to give him the loser of next week's main event between Gilbert Burns and Mike Malott.
I literally have Malott Burns loser for Brown.
Okay. No, I have it for Holland.
Oh, for Holland. Oh, then I'm going higher for both these guys.
I'm going way lower for Brown.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with Charles Radke.
Whew.
Charles Radke's on this card. He's winning fights.
Yeah.
Brown doesn't have a good win. What's his good win?
That's a good question.
I'm just throwing
Because now I'm feeling all defensive because you match these guys so much. I mean, Salikov knocking out Nicholas Dalby, both good wins. You know.
Yep. I mean but that's the level that Charles Radke is right now. He might be slightly below, but he's on that that tier.
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone throwing out Colby Covington versus Holland. I wouldn't mind that. The problem is I don't think Colby's gonna fight in the UFC anymore. He's doing the RFA thing. He's headlining. He's probably making just as much money. And it's I'll say this: wrestling is not like a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a little easy on the body." No, hell, it is not. It's probably hard on the body, but like having to compete for 6 minutes is better than having to compete for 25 minutes. But he's getting gimmicky fights, going against Chris Weidman. He's going against Luke Rockhold. He'll probably do freaking a YouTuber and stuff. And he's not going to go against somebody serious. He's not going to put him against David Carr, and get smashed. But the stick, the Colby being relevant in the UFC has been so, that thing's gone. So I don't know if Colby fights in the UFC anymore.
It's entire.
I'm okay if he doesn't.
I'm okay if he doesn't as well. And here's the thing: I always found his personality, kind of whatever, and his shtick. But I always enjoyed watching him fight. As much of a kind of dork as he was on the mic, he was always a consummate professional in the cage. A bit of an overachiever considering his size. Like I like him as a fighter. And if he was gonna come back, the White House card was the most obvious one, and it was never even talked about seriously.
I know,
even though weird. there was no shortage of people stepping up and asking him. So yeah,
it's funny. Like I can't believe you can just toss even like a agent veteran. Like you try to get Colby the win because he's Trump's guy, and try to get him to win the White House. Give him like a guy that's a name, but Colby should still be able to beat. I mean, Michael Chiesa would have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Colby would have beat Michael Chiesa, but it actually would have made sense.
No, hey, give my teacher Alex Morono a call.
Honestly, Alex Morono would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
would have made a lot of sense. That's RC got me pretty good. RC got me pretty good. Keith, YouTubers aren't serious people. Yeah, it was pretty ironic. Nice job. RC Kid is hilarious. Speaking of other jobs, it's time for our favorite part of the recap show. Is when we get away from MMA for a minute. We talk about our lives. I'm going to throw this out to the chat too. This is your Know Your Host question. Ben, this is the Know Your Host question. Obviously, we know what you do. You work for Sherdog. You do all the editing. You write. You do YouTube. You do everything for sure. You are the guy.
Yeah.
The question is, if you weren't working for Sherdog, what would you do? What would be your job? And what I want people to do is I want you to put in the chat what you currently do for a job, and then what you would do if you weren't doing that. And I don't want this. I don't want, I drive a bus. Well, if I didn't work for the bus company, I'd work for a taxi company. Like, make it different. Like, don't make it,
Sorry, they're killing me in the chat here. It's funny. Like, the obvious one, I mean, if you ever see me like pivot far enough that you can see that there is a lot more than one guitar behind me. There was a time in kind of my mid to late 20s where, I was playing music semi-professionally, like I still do now to some extent, but we were young enough and drawing enough fans that, we were getting interest from independent labels and stuff. And at some point in that, again, somewhere between my 25th and 30th birthday, I was married, I had a couple of kids, and just made the choice to go in one direction rather than the other. And I'm not, one of those guys who's like, yeah, I could have made it big. I don't know if I had the talent. I'm pretty talented. What I know is I didn't have the commitment. If I had it over again, maybe I would have, sacrificed more to see if I could have made something out of that. I don't know if I'd be happier as a full-time professional musician. I kind of enjoy it being something I can pick up or put down. And, if I spend too much money on it, at least it's money that came out of another paycheck. But, when I'm daydreaming on a random Sunday, I'm like, what would it be like if I was like an old, fat, tired rock star right now instead of an old, fat, tired MMA journalist?
Yeah, you said you weren't dedicated enough. You're talking about like you weren't dedicated to like do enough cocaine, have enough like groupies. I know you had the groupies, but
I've never been a cocaine guy. I don't need something to make me talk faster and be more annoying. Like everybody finds some sort of chemistry, to bring them to their version of normal. Coke was never something I needed. Like I've been around cokeheads. I can't stand them. Like
how about Ben? Well, this is more of a question then. Have you ever like given lessons? Like teach people how to play guitars and stuff?
I have to friends, but teaching beginners, like whatever it takes to teach that kind of skill to beginners, I don't have it.
Wow.
Like you've known me long enough to know that I am a terminally kind of chill person, but my blood pressure spikes. Like I want to grab the guitar out of their hands and smash it over their head.
Really?
It's the same reason.
Even like a kid?
Like, especially a kid. It doesn't sound better because they're a kid. Like, dude, I walk into a guitar center on a Saturday when there's like 50 11-year-olds playing drums and guitars terribly, and I just want to tear gas the place. Like, shut up.
So that's out of the question too, like owning a guitar store or a music store.
Well, I could own a guitar store, just somebody else would have to because I can talk about guitar gear all day.
But they always have the person like playing, like you go to the guitar store, there's someone playing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a good teacher.
Then you always get that asshole who goes in the store and he's not buying a single thing. He just wants to play with some cooler guitar than he has, and he's just playing. Yep. And he's doing like whole like 12 songs in a row, and it's like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
It should be like, all right, you get one song and then move on.
Hey, let me answer a question real quick because I teased this in the preview comments.
Okay.
And Tiga just reminded me just to tell the Shillan Brazil story. So Sherdog contributor Marcelo Alonso, who also is the editor of Tatami Magazine in Brazil. And for those who don't know, he is the literal OG. There are two active journalists that covered UFC 1, Marcelo Alonso and Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer. That's it. Like there was no ESPN. There was no mainstream.
Do you know how many people watched UFC 1? Like
55,000.
God, but 55,000 people. But somehow I have met all 55,000 people.
Yep. It's like there are like 9 million people that claim they were at Woodstock. Yep. But anyway, so he is the literal ultimate OG, and for a long time he would show up on the Sherdog previews anytime there was a card in Brazil. Because he was like the only Brazilian that spoke good enough English and was willing to pick against Brazilian fighters. Anyway, he's the man. And I remember they had him on a preview for a card that had Chael Sonnen on it. And this was at the height of his rise. It was either like before or after his fights with Anderson Silva. And one of the other panelists asked him, so what's the reaction to Chael like in Brazil? And obviously just kind of bracing for, people are wanting to fight him all the time. Like people are spitting on him, throwing shit at him. Cause he was saying the stuff like, I didn't know they had the internet in Brazil. Like, I saw Big Nog feeding a bus to a carrot, like just all that shit. And Marcelo was like,
bus, Ben,
thank you. Okay, yeah. Brazilians aren't that dumb. All right. And Marcelo was like, no, Chael is probably the third most popular fighter in Brazil right now after Vanderlei Silva and Anderson Silva. And you know why? It's because Chael got the joke. And because of that, most Brazilians got the joke. Like they understood on some level that he was saying outrageous shit for laughs. And just each successive iteration of that version, because after Chael there was Colby. After Colby, there's now Josh Hokett. They've gotten less and less self-aware as they've gone along. Because you know what? If he meant everything he said, then Chael was a completely offensive, bigoted asshole and should have been fired. Like
talking about like the kids playing in the mud.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah.
but
He's talking
like
about
just
the mean streets of whatever Oregon, and he's pretending like,
yeah.
I
Dude, his story where he's
my
telling
butler
about
thinks my
finding
butler.
a gum wrapper on the ground in his hometown, and like
Yeah.
the mean streets,
Oh,
like
I know one was
so
like,
funny.
my butler, like took a day off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like
he's so
his
good.
whole talking about the first Silva fight, and he's like, like talking about jujitsu, and I'm like he's like, I'm a Republican, we don't do that stuff. Like, and yeah, and then he went to tap out Shogun like a year later. He was joking pretty
Yes,
much the whole
yeah,
time. Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's funny. Um, so so with Marcel, I remember when I was doing the MMA Legacy, where I was interviewing old fighters and their careers, and someone said, "Hey, reach out to him about getting a Brazilian." And I reached out to him like, "Hey, I'm trying to get some Brazilian fighters." Or I don't know if I asked somebody, but he's like, "Yeah, what's your phone number?" So I give him my phone number, and then all of a sudden I got a text message, but it wasn't a text message. It was like a text message from unknown number, but it had like a voice, like a
Okay.
like
Like
I'll
a
click
little
on it.
recorded voice memo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I click on it, and it's like, "Hey Keith, it's Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira," like big nog, and I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, I've been looking at Marcel. I'm on this thing, so if you want to meet up, I could maybe do Tuesday or something like that." I'm like, and then he just kept hitting me with these. Like, who do you want? Oh, you want? Oh, no one has ever talked to Ricardo Arona in 10 years. Here's Ricardo Arona's phone number. Give him a call. Oh, here's Shogun. I'm like, this guy's freaking. He is connected as they come. He's the man,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's the man.
His Rolodex is insane.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea that like Keith is like leaving Big Nog on red, like like he's not even like responding to like some of the greatest fighters of all time.
Yeah, he wasn't the champion anymore. Like, come on. Yeah. No, we kept going back and forth, and yeah, dude, Nog's a man. He's eventually like, he's just all of a sudden I look and there's a freaking message from Big Nog.
So good.
So yeah, so you'd be a musician,
or I'd actually just like, dude, if somebody gave me like, I don't know, not even like fuck you money, but gave me like $500,000 right now, I just like quit Sherdog and kind of turn off the tap on like my freelance projects for a year and just actually like finish a novel or two. Like
Okay.
I've got so many kind of like
But that's
half
not
done
bad.
where I'm like,
yeah, but that's also up to like what you're doing. Like, you're a writer. Like you wouldn't surprise anybody saying you're
dude,
like skills
at this point, I do so much podcasting and podcast producing. Like my professional tombstone will say, "Born to write, paid to talk."
There you go.
Yeah.
What about I could see you like having a studio, like be like recording stuff for people.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely, could absolutely do that.
yeah. And like
Because
setting the tracks and all that. My wife's school just did that. It was pretty cool. She the guy, you might actually know who he is. He's like friggin', I don't know. He won like, I don't know. It's not a Grammy. What's like? Is it Grammy that's music?
Yeah, you get Grammys for music.
Yeah,
That's the one. Yep.
He won something. I don't know. He won some big thing. He like produced like a gazillion famous people's albums, and he's moved to Rhode Island now. He's got a big studio. But my wife's a teacher at like pretty like my kids can't go there. It's like a very expensive school, and he like produced like Lady Gaga's album and shit and stuff. So, anyways, he like his kid goes to our school and like invited the choir to come to the studio to check out like a real studio. And she gets in, it's like freaking $1 million. Like, whoa. And they all got to like record, and she did like the little different, one girl singing a couple of times, and they picked the best one. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but and then like get this person singing and that person singing. So she was, and they they did like they mixed it all up and made it sound like freaking awesome.
Oh, and dude, for a few of the kids in the choir, that'll be a life-changing experience. Like a few kids in that choir decided to do music for their lives after hearing themselves professionally recorded. It's a game changer.
I should send you my wife has a video, like when they like the guy sent like, I don't think it's finished. He sent like a little like sample, like little quick sample, like, hey, this was gonna like sound like he said it that day, like it wasn't done, just so they could have an idea. But you'd probably like it. So as far as me, like yours is way more exciting than mine. Like I would say I'm a fairly handy guy. Like I'm definitely not like Bob Vila, but I'm fairly handy. I've always said, and it's probably every single time I do work in my house, I'm like, it doesn't take skill to be a plumber. Plumbing is super easy. Like if I was,
Yep.
I've never once had like a plumbing issue in my house and like couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
It's like for example, like a week ago, I had the cold water in my. I have this, saying I still have the old, one side's hot, one side's cold, not the one in the middle, and the cold side was like just barely dripping, and the hot was plus there. So I said, well, it's obviously clogged, and okay, here's where the water comes through. Mm-hmm. This is where it goes to the hot, so it's obviously has to be from this point to this point. Take the thing off, replace it, flush in like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, it's the freaking easiest thing. Just connect that pipe.
It's not electrical.
No,
where you can't necessarily tell the direction something's going, and if you get it wrong, you die. No, like
bad day you go wet. Yeah, bad day you go wet. Like I understand, like the ones who do like septic is a little more advanced and stuff, but just in general, like I could probably right now do 90% of the plumbing jobs out there. I'd say the other thing that I would be interested in. And this, I'm not skilled enough to do it now, but I would like to, if I had the money, would do like some woodworking stuff. Like I like working, I'm always like when I go to you see like the Amish furniture, and like obviously I don't have that kind of skill, but like seeing that, I'd like to do something like that, like seeing like the really I've done some furniture stuff. I did like an Adirondacks chair, and I've done like a bench around the fire. I mean, my oldest daughter's like starting to get into it too, so we're gonna like make a picnic table. My old picnic table is kind of getting old. So if I could do stuff like that, I think that'd be kind of cool. A guy down the street from me has his own like wood shop, and it's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
So I know people are making fun of plumbing and all that stuff, but all right. So that was the know your host. Probably not the best question, but it was one on the fly. Guys, make sure you send in. Keith's retiring from police to become a plumber. Yeah. I am.
If you're watching this and you have questions for know your host, either just get me at ben.duffy@Sherdog.com or just DM me on Twitter. I'm happy to use them and credit you. Yeah.
Or just hit me up on my OnlyFans channel. And all right. Before that, Matus Gamrot took on Esteban Rivas. Gamrot winning by second round submission. This is one of the fights that we were pretty confident that Gamrot would win. This, I think, was one of our best calls. Like, he was the favorite, but I saw so many people on Rivovitz, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, that's same. Like, it's been pretty simple with Gamrot. If he's the better wrestler and he gets to decide where the fight takes place, he's probably going to beat you. Like, unless you're something truly special, unless you're like a Charles Oliveira, you're gonna really, really struggle to beat him. And here, he kind of made it look easy.
Yeah. I mean, his timing on his you couldn't throw anything that wasn't straight. Like, he couldn't sit on anything. He had to be like jabbing on his toes. If he sat on a punch, Gamrot was just timing it. His reactionary takedowns, easy takedowns. I mean, but I saw so many people like, oh, why? Like, oh, Gamrot's getting old. He just got tapped out by Charles Oliveira. It's like, this guy out-grappled Arman Sarukian. Like, people forget about that. Like, Gamrot's really good. It was smart for him to call for a top 15 guy or top 10 guy. Like, he's up there in age. Like, it's now or never for him. And I don't think he'll win a title or anything, but that said, I'm not giving him a top 10 guy.
What are you doing?
I'm giving him Ziam. Faris Ziam. I think he's a really good guy in the division. And
Ziam has a fight booked because I had the winner of Ziam versus somebody against somebody.
All right, then I'll do that. The winner of Ziam versus somebody versus Gamrot. I don't know who the somebody is, but
I mean, he called for Diego Lopez to come up to 155 and fight him. I mean, Which, if Lopez feels like doing that, sure. But otherwise, I had Moicano.
Like, to me, Moicano has such a big mouth. They probably got to get a bigger fight just because of that. I mean, last week was
I mean, and they're both ATT guys, which would make it a little complicated. So,
well, yeah. I don't know. I wonder if Gamrot's a big enough name for Moicano. Because Moicano's like, I'm only fighting big names, and you know, Moicano went on his big rant about motherfucker, Jesus motherfucker. Rivervets, like, whatever.
Astral Karate like closes me out there. Boom. Thank you.
What was it?
He said he won't fight him. Astral Karate 10 says Moicano said he won't fight Gamrot. There you go. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's because Gamrot is probably a bad stylistic matchup for him. Like, I think Gamrot wins that fight probably pretty. No, you know what? I constantly like don't give Moicano enough credit. He's one of the guys I don't think I've ever had a good read on him. As far as Rivervets, give him anybody like Carlos Diego
Michael
Ferrer.
Johnson. I got Michael Johnson.
Yeah, is Carlos Diego Ferrer? That's why I wrote down. Is he still around? Is he retired?
I could ask. I mean, he's probably in bed by now, but yeah.
Okay. Before that, and I don't want to be like, I had a pretty good night in my picks. Tatiana Suarez taking on Lupe Godinez. Tatiana Suarez won by second round submission. This was I think you guys all forgot like moment for Tatiana Suarez. Like, but it wasn't you. It was everybody. I saw everybody taking Lupe Godinez. Everybody saying, "Oh, Tatiana looks so bad." Yeah, she lost one fight to Zhang Weili, top 3, top 4 female fighters of all time. You know what I mean? They you know, top 2 or 3 pound for pound fighters in the world. Like, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she's gonna win the title. I still definitely think, you know, we missed her prime. I do believe that about, and I know she got clipped early by Lupe, but yeah, she got clipped by a top 10 fighter. Okay.
Yep.
I just, the amount of people I go back to that, and I'm not dogging these guys. These guys were, there was 2 like gambling guys. These guys were intelligent. Like they did this stuff. Like but like one guy said, well, you know, you got to remember about Lupe. You know, her sister is an Olympic wrestler, so you know she trains with her. And I'm like, okay. Do you think Tatiana Suarez has never wrestled anybody that had like a world-class wrestler as a cornerman, like ever? When she went to the biggest wrestling tournament in the world, you don't think she ever had quality wrestling coaches against her?
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, Lupe Godinez's sister is not the best person to ever coach against Tatiana Suarez.
Nope. I completely agree with you. For me, I got this fight wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'd rather not be wrong as often as I was tonight, if I can avoid it. But I was wrong in the best possible way, because my best possible outcome from this fight would be for one of these women to win in such a way that she looks like an actual title contender. And Suarez looked fantastic.
Yeah, once she got the takedown, the entire fight was over. Once she got that first takedown, it completely changed everything. Now she was hurt, but yeah, she was hurt and she was clipped, and she was. I mean, at first I thought like, oh god, this is Tatiana Suarez is done. Like she's going to finish her. And then it was like, yeah, but Lupe's gonna do something stupid, and she did. She should have let her up. She should have kept. Instead, she starts grappling. Tatiana Suarez almost hits her with I think she was a little too hurt to realize it. She almost hit her with a Peterson, which would have been. I would have lost my shit if she hit her with a Peterson. And then
I usually have. Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Then she just grabbed the single and finished the takedown. I was like, oh, that's it. It's a wrap.
Yep. I usually on a fight that goes this long, I usually have 10 or 12 just little bullet point observations. I stopped at 1 after this. Just Lupe stop wrestling to make a point.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say about Suarez, I think the narrative is a little wrong about her. I think the narrative, a lot of people, great wrestler, and she is, obviously. I mean, that's no doubt. But people always think about her getting takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously is good at getting takedowns, but that's not it. It's her top game. Once she gets you down, mm-hmm. it's this wasn't like the mauling. This wasn't the one where she's been compared to Hibby, but this was the I'm gonna beat. You know what? It was more of like a old school wrestler, like
John
little bit
Fitch.
yeah, okay, like
Like
a submission game.
like it's not going to go fast, but it's going to look like a python swallowing a goat on the nature channel, because there's not going to be any chance that the goat survives at any point. It's just how long is it going to take?
You know, I was a little bit like upcoming Chris Weidman.
Okay.
Like, because like you had like the submission thread onto it and like the beating up, and then you're gonna make a mistake and she's gonna sub you.
Yep, I like that.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, is she past her prime? Yes. Is she ever gonna win a title? Probably not. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, obviously Zhang Weili has already been a tough stylistic matchup for her, and I'd assume Mackenzie Dern's a tough stylistic matchup. You take the fight to the ground, you really don't want to be on top of Mackenzie Dern. But who else in the division is?
Dude, I mean, my next matchup for Suarez, if something happened to Dern, it could be for an interim title, and I'd favor Suarez in it. So you don't have to sell me on this.
Yeah,
like the name I have for her.
If Dern wasn't the champion, you're saying.
Yeah, like if something happened to Dern, Suarez versus Jandiroba might be for an interim title, and I might favor, like after watching some tape, I might end up favoring Suarez in that.
Yeah, that's the exact matchup I had. They were supposed to fight each other when Tatiana Suarez was taken out to fight for the title. Yeah, I think right now, I mean, she wouldn't be. I don't know what the betting line was, whatever it was, about a year ago or whatever it was, when they were scheduled to fight each other. I'm assuming Suarez was probably like minus 270 kind of favorite. I think the line would be much closer, but she'd probably still be like minus 130 favorite. So she'd be the favorite.
Probably. Yeah.
And like, I would favor Werner on the feet, which is really surprising. But Werner is a top side grappler. She's in fantastic. I mean, you see her against Mackenzie. Her grappling is just as good, but it's a different style. It's a top side. Could she get Tatiana down?
Yeah, and Jandiroba is a surprisingly effective offensive wrestler for a woman as small as she is. And I just used two qualifiers there, surprising and for her size, that may not cut much mustard against someone like Suarez.
Yeah, and we saw it's the size of Suarez when she was getting, like, when, you know, no one talked about the size of Suarez. This is actually, I thought, was my best pick. I talk about her draping over. She didn't really drape over, but that's one thing I said in the preview. I said on that show. But when she gabbed the plum clinch and she was draping over the plum, and then Lupe's trying to get away and she couldn't. She just held on the plum clinch, and then when she had the chance to get the angle, she hit that single. And I'm like, she like, that size difference matters. She just kind of bullied her there.
Like if you've never tried it, clinching with somebody that's taller than you and knows how to do the plum is exhausting, frustrating, and dangerous. Yeah.
And let's be honest, like, her sister is an Olympic wrestler. She's an Olympic wrestler from Canada. Like, let's relax. Like, it's not America. It's not like, female wrestling. Females to Japanese are very good. Like, let's relax. All right, so we both went with Verna for Tatiana. What are we doing with Lupe? Oh, here's the other thing about Lupe. Like, Lupe's, the thing is, like, nothing. You just can't trust Lupe. She's got to find a way to lose. like she's got to find a way to lose.
Yep.
I'm giving her a name. I'm giving her an up and comer. I'm going to give her Alexia Tainara, who we just saw, who's looking really good. I'm going to give Tainara a step up in competition.
I had Amanda Lemos.
Okay, we're kind of going,
I'm just fine with it, because Lemos is older, former contender, kind of slowly making her way down, but I'm just as good with Tainara. It's rare that there are as many good options for somebody, in the strawweight top 10 as there are for Lupe.
Yeah, Iman Rapport is one of the best listeners we've had. He's in the Hall of Fame. He or she is in the Hall of Fame for.
It's I-Man Report, not I-Woman Report.
That's
Come on.
fair. Is that like kind of like a Spanish or something, or for like I. That said, he's making like a ridiculous matchup. Godinez versus Robertson. Why would Robertson take that fight? Robertson's way past Godinez. Like, Robertson might be fighting for the title. Why is she gonna take a fight against Godinez? They just lost. Like, you want to go Robertson versus Suarez, okay, but I don't know if Robertson takes a Suarez fight. She's definitely not taking a Godinez fight. But all right, let's move on. Before that, Chris Padilla took on Markel Maderos. Chris Padilla won a majority decision, and then he didn't. Then he didn't win a majority decision. Instead, it was a majority draw. Okay, I'm gonna let you be a defense lawyer. Okay, that was what you should have said would have been your job if you didn't work for Sherdog. Put on your defense lawyer. I'm accusing your client, the Mr. Bruce Buffer, for screwing this up. I don't know if it's true or not, but I am going to accuse him anyways. I am saying this is definitely Bruce Buffer's fault. Defend him.
My client is clearly a victim of the card that was handed to him. As we will show in court, the actual scorecard that was handed to Mr. Buffer, which was posted subsequently on social media, had the correct scores, but the wrong result written at the bottom. In the pressure of the moment, Mr. Buffer cannot be expected to do anything other than read what is on the card in front of him accurately. And if we're being honest, that is too hard for him on most nights.
So, okay, so the actual scorecard handed to him said, like, 29, 28.
Yeah, like the actual scores are right, but at the bottom it said, Padilla majority decision winner. Yeah.
Okay, and he didn't look at it. He didn't question it.
And I don't want him questioning it. I don't want him editorializing it. I just want a clean-cut line for him to read off. Like, it's too much to ask him to tabulate the scores. And not even bashing him. That's not his job. There is a whole team of inspectors and regulators whose job it is to hand the ring announcer the right fucking words to read. Like, as bad as Buffer is, he read the card in front of him. It's like in Anchorman when they learn that, Ron Burgundy reads whatever's on the teleprompter. So, he says, go fuck yourself, San Diego. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when Joe Biden read like something like pause for break or something like that. Yeah.
And a few months later, his political career paused for break. Well, what do you want?
I just can't. I don't know why people can't see that Buffer is Joe Biden. That's what he is now. I'm not trying to get political with the, whether I like Biden or not, but I mean, like, there was a part where, like, okay, he's not physically able to do it. That's how I view Bruce Buffer. I'm gonna give him a pat. Fine. I wanted to smash him. Cause I blamed him, and I still think it's his fault.
I'd be a terrible defense lawyer.
I just don't. I think that same card gets handed to Joe Martinez. I think Joe Martinez probably looks it over and goes, "Wait, are we sure? Like, something's wrong here. Either these scorecards are wrong, or."
Completely agree. I completely agree.
I was sitting there right after this. Like during the break, right after, I was just like, "What the fuck, Bruce Buffer? Like, he's so bad." And I posted on Twitter about how bad Bruce Buffer is, and of course, like the freaking, no, Bruce Buffer. One guy legit was like, "Bro, UFC wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Bruce Buffer." It's like, really, dude, really? Yeah. Did he make some moments iconic? Sure, absolutely, absolutely. You know who also had some iconic moments? Larry fucking Bird. I don't want the Celtics signing Larry Bird. Like, I don't want Larry Bird coming off the bench. But anyways, I went to the commercials, and it was that stupid Bud Light commercial with Dustin Poirier and him, like, where they like take the guy's jobs for Bud Light. And I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, imagine the Bud Light people. How many takes did it take?
Dude, I said this a few shows ago. The irony is he couldn't do that call center job. Like one week of mispronouncing everybody's names and he'd be fired from like an $18 an hour job.
But I just mean like the 3 lines he had in a commercial. Like, how long did that take?
Oh, I'm sure.
They must have didn't. All right, take 972.
Take 972. Dustin, don't actually kick the machine this time because you're going to break it before Buffer gets this shit right.
Yeah. I've been like, can we get Michael Buffer? Like, what is going on?
Can we get Michael Buffer is what's going to be on Bruce's professional tombstone. I just said what's going to be on mine.
Oh, the people still. All right, let's actually talk about the actual fight.
Okay.
I thought it was an incredible fight. I wrote down this, but obviously at the time I wrote the note, I didn't know what was following. I thought it was going to be extremely hard to top this. I said could have been fight of the night if Padilla didn't miss weight. So obviously Padilla missed weight by 2 pounds. I didn't know what was coming up. I thought it was going to be very hard to beat that, but I scored it for Padilla. I gave Padilla. I'm not sure if I gave him 2 rounds or I gave him 3 rounds. I'm not really sure. I didn't write it down here. Do you know off the top of your head if you score how many rounds you scored for?
Yeah, I gave Padilla. I scored it 29-27 Padilla. So I gave him. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I gave him 2 rounds and the point deduction. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the point deduction. Yeah, I have to check. I forgot about the point. So yeah, I gave him. I think I went 30-26. I think I might.
You know what? A lot of people did. 2 of Sherdog's scores went 30-26. It's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
I think I might have went 30-26. So maybe I went 29-27. I honestly don't remember. And for some reason I didn't write it down. All my notes are like Padilla won notes. I checked MMA decisions. There wasn't a single scorecard for a draw. Every single scorecard was for Padilla.
Yeah.
That said, I thought both guys looked good. I know.
I agree.
Like Maderos lost, but I also wrote a note like I'm probably picking him for my next episode, his next fight. Like
he looks good,
depending on who goes. But he's got an hour. Like I'm not like he looks so bad. Like he got pressured like hell and still had some really good moments.
I agree. I have one note that I kind of want to throw out here because something that I'll say on a lot of previews, and just so you don't think I'm just coming up with something vague and nebulous that has no real life application in MMA, I will sometimes say that a fighter is good at winning rounds. This is now ironic since the fight ended up a draw, but Chris Padilla's performance here was a good example of being good at winning rounds, because you could argue that Maderos is more accurate and hitting harder on a shot-for-shot basis, but Padilla was constantly coming forward and throwing more volume, and in a close round, 90% of judges are just going to lean towards the busier-looking fighter. Fair or not, don't hate the player, hate the game, to bring up a 25-year-old, cliche. That's what I mean. Learning how to win rounds in competitive fights is a super, super crucial skill in MMA. Very rare are the fighters that just keep finishing people all the way up the ladder. They're extremely rare. At some point, you're going to start running into really skilled fighters, defensively sound fighters, and you need to learn how to win close rounds. Padilla already knows how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And this would have been his 8th win in a row. He would have been 5-0 in the UFC. I think the judges got that one wrong. Before that, speaking of getting it wrong, this is my worst call. And Kelvin Gastelum took on Vicente Luque. Well, I did say Luque could win by submission. I said that was his best chance, but Luque first round submission. You know what impressed me? I mean, Luque's got obviously he's got like a signature submission, the Darce choke. I think being at middleweight, I think he should wrestle more, try to get the fight to the ground. I think similar to what I said about Kevin Holland. But I think more impressive to me was not that he submitted Kelvin Gastelum, that he dropped him with a strike before that. Because say what you want about Kelvin Gastelum, and he gives you plenty of reason not to like him. His chin has never been it.
No, his chin, his chin's always been rugged. You and I both picked Gastelum in this one. I mean, it was 2 fighters with big question marks hanging over them, but I don't like to place too much stock in how a fighter looked on the scale or looked during fight week, but Gastelum looked so bad physically that I was like, oh man, I picked this fight wrong, didn't I? He's a guy that's fought at 185 pounds a lot, and he never looked that fat. I'm like, oh, you look disinterested, don't you? And big ups to Vicente Luque. Obviously, he has, the best front headlock series in UFC history at this point.
Yeah.
When Gastelum got a front headlock on him, he didn't even bother defending it. Just completely disrespect. Didn't even try to peel the arm off. Just kind of stood back up and shoved the dude off. Yeah. And then I mean, I think they called it a Doris. I may actually have been an Anaconda, but either way, finished him with a choke from the front headlock. And the only difference between those two is the side you enter from. The choke ends up basically the same. But yeah, like just it couldn't get more levels to that. I mean, that looked like a jiu-jitsu lesson. Like, okay, yeah, you try your little choke. Okay, that's nice. Here's how it goes.
Yeah, the funny thing is, in the beginning of the fight, I mean, Gastelum came out super aggressive, and I was like, "Oh shit, Gastelum's gonna start him soon." Like I'm like, "Wow, he's trying to get like the highlight. He has no respect for Luque." I'm like, he's trying to get that Michael Bisping knockout highlight, and then he got clipped. And my question is, I mean, I think Luque is completely not dead. Like he's won fights recently. Does the middleweight change going up to middleweight? Does that like resurrect his career a little bit? How are you feeling?
I think it prolongs it. I don't think.
I think it's
he's ever. Answer. Yeah, I think it prolongs it. If you can do that to Gastelum in the first round, there are some goofballs at 185 pounds that he can probably.
Yeah, it feels like a little like Andre Arlovski at his end of his career in the UFC. Like, yeah, he's not going to win. He's not going to be the top 15 guy, but he's on borrowed time and he's enjoying. He's like, oh, let's enjoy this while it lasts. I'm going to give Vicente Luque. People hate me for doing this. I'm going to do it again. Any name, just know I have an agent name at the end of his career. I'm always going to try to go over the next guy. He's obviously known for his jiu-jitsu skills, so I'm going to put him against a striker who's not known for his jiu-jitsu skills. So there's like that threat of what Luque can do to him. You gotta hate me, dude. I'm getting him Yusri Belgaria. Belgaria, whatever how you say his name.
Yusri Belgaria. All right.
Yeah, he's insanely good striker.
You know what? Luque would sign that without a moment's hesitation. I'm fine with it. I was gonna give him just another person on the absolute like tail end of his career. Like, oh, you're gonna do a card in Europe, and Gunnar Nelson wants his one fight every 18 months. Give me Nelson versus Luque at 185. Yeah. Antoine Willis, does Kelvin get cut after this? I do want to address this real quick. The man has been in the UFC since he was 21 years old, basically his entire career. The UFC will only cut him if they are sure that they can squeeze no more value out of him at all, because he's the kind of guy that is not going to know how to walk away. If they cut him, he will be in BKFC or some like Netflix MVP card 6 months from now, and he'll look terrible there too. But if he has any name value left, the UFC is not going to let him go.
Yeah, I can see him in RFA wrestling Luke Rockhold and like just I'm going to give Gastelum another fight, but I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm okay with cutting him if you want. He did win his last fight before this. I would like, I'm not even giving him a name. Like, put him against Marc-Andre Barrio, like just like the thing is. So as far as the fight I said with Luque, like I would put that as a prelim fight, like a featured prelim fight, or on a big card, like International Fight Week, something like. So it gets like a little buzz for being on that card. Yeah, Gastelum, to me, Gastelum is just like card filler at this point. Like his name, it's nothing.
He's a card filler. He's a seat filler. And
the first fight of the night was our favorite fighter, Charles Radke, Chuck Buffalo, taking on Francisco Prado. Radke winning by unanimous decision. I just watching it, like Radke's a tough out. It's just plain simple. He's a tough out for anybody.
Yes.
I mean, not much analysts.
No, wasn't a great fight. Like, it helps to be one of those tough as leather mid-card welterweights if you were exciting to watch. Like, if you want to be somewhere between Ponzinibbio and Luque and, Price, and hang around and get a bunch of bonuses, you need to be a little more exciting. That's all I'd say.
Yeah, as far as Prado, I was just saying, I'm like, the guy's only 23 years old, so he still has time for improvement, but he needs to go back to regional scene. Like, I don't think I think he could make a return. I think he could have. I'm not saying he's going to be Eustace Zalal, but I mean, I think he's probably better off for his career. Go back in the regional scene, get some wins, focus on either his defensive, his takedown defense, or his ability to get back up because
Like,
his struggles on the ground is
yeah.
it's
Don't
amazing.
don't go back to Brazil and Argentina. Send that man to Cage Warriors and let him come back like, Modestas Bukauskas or Mason Jones in a couple of years. Like, bounce back guys from Cage Warriors seem to do better.
Yeah, I gotta say this. I just thought of this right now. I'm anybody who knows this show. I'm sure people in here doesn't watch this all the time, but the ones who do know I'm not the PC police or anything like that. But like Racky's post fight, like in cage with Joe Rogan, when he's just like, I don't know, saying like gay slurs to the crowd. Like, again, I'm not the PC police, but I'm like, why?
That's not even PC anymore. That's just like basic. This is how we behave in
it was just so weird.
Yeah,
it was just weird. It's like that. What? it was. I don't know. Why take that kind of like smoke on yourself? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so
also, dude, Miami's a super gay city. I don't know how you thought that was going to go over, but yeah.
Well. Okay, I'm gonna stereotype for 1 second. Generally speaking, I don't know if gay people are really into UFC, but I mean,
they're extremely into the UFC. It's really fit guys fighting in their underwear.
Yeah, I mean, Oldberg is a good-looking guy, so man, yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong with it. So, all right, let's get to the fun stuff. As we've already covered all 12 fights, let's go to the cut list because that was a question: does Kelvin Gastelum get cut? The way the cut list works, if both me and Ben have the same names on the cut list, we give the UFC permission to get rid of the fighters. I only have 2. I have a very small cut list this time. How many do you have?
I have at least 1. I have at least 2.
2, okay.
What's your first have well, just starting from the bottom of the card, Francisco Prado is 1-5 in the UFC. Like you said, he's 23 years old. Send that man to the UK.
Yep. Send him there.
He'll come back with better English and some wins.
Yeah, have a good manager that, gets back to you, gets 4 or 5 wins. Yep.
Yeah. So that's number 1. All right. My number 2?
Yep.
I'm letting Kelvin Gastelum go. Like, I don't think he's. I just gave the rationale by which the UFC would let him go. I don't think there's much left to squeeze out of that burrito at 170 or 185.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have Kelvin Gastelum on my list, but what I put him against Marc-Andre Barrios. Like, I clearly gave up on him instead of just cutting him. You convinced me. Like, yeah, it's time for Gastelum. And then I will give a shout out to my man Clint. What's Clint's last name? I don't know. He's great. I've been on his show. I can't think of his last name. He had me Clint McLean, that's his name. He's the diehard MMA podcast. He's great. He's really good. But he's really good follow on Twitter. Make sure you check him out. But he had me laughing all week because he was posting on Twitter and he kept talking about the main event was Kelvin Gastelum versus the scale. And like at one point he put like the side by side. It was like Kelvin Gastelum and the scale. He's like, the main event's coming today. So you saved.
No, I haven't saved anybody. I wasn't done.
2. Oh, you said
no. I said 2. I have at least 2.
Oh, okay.
And I was just going from the bottom of the card.
I only have 1 more.
Is it Nate Landwehr?
It is Nate Landwehr. You cut Nate.
He's lost 3 in a row, 4 or 5. Yeah, I mean,
he used to be super excited. He's not. He can't be exciting anymore. He's not that guy. He can't take the damage. I guess not get knocked out like I guess Cub Swanson was exciting, but
he's one boring fight away. I mean, they've already locked him outside of the building after one of his own fights. Like Johnny Walker is on notice.
There's something going on with him and his brother. Like, they beefing with each other?
They are beefing. I mean, they've never trained together. They've never even trained on the same continent, really. Like, there's got to be something there.
Yeah, they asked, one of the reporters asked Johnny at Media Day about something about Walter, and he's like, I don't want to talk about him.
Yeah.
Dude.
And there you go. If Johnny Walker doesn't have something silly to say, he really is salty.
Let me say something. Enter scumbag Keith. If I'm running the UFC, I'm sending them both a contract with the other brother's name on it and be like, let's fucking do it. Could you imagine? Imagine the media and the press and the attention you'd get. There'd be a ton of backlash attention, but fuck.
It would. I don't think the fight would happen. They'd end up throwing down at a press conference.
Yeah.
And yeah. But
I sure as hell would try to do it. I mean, if the Lozon brothers can duke it out in a friggin' in a cookout in the front lawn when they're like 14,
Dude.
the Walker brothers can slug it out.
Dude,
All right,
Dan Lozon has like 40 pounds on Joe, and Joe would just whoop him so hard.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure Dan Lozon's living on a bridge somewhere right now. Do you have anybody else on the list?
No, that's it.
Okay, because I was saving everybody else. So
yeah.
All right, let's get to Dude Seriously. Do you have any Dude Seriously, Ben? Or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I have some Dude Seriously.
All right.
In the middle of Tatiana Suarez versus Lupe Godinez, DC's just on his thing, and he's like, the winner of this could fight Alexa Grasso.
Oh, got it. Yes.
If they were in the same weight class, maybe.
Yeah, I had that written down. I was like, I didn't remember if it was Joe Rogan or DC. Yeah, they're like, yeah, there's Alexa Grasso in the background. I'm like,
yeah. I said this, whenever the last card was that wasn't in the Apex. I'll do it one more time, and then I won't keep harping on it every single card. But saying we've got a packed house when we can see an empty house behind you is just fucking silly. Like, you can sell the product without just insulting our intelligence and gaslighting us about what we can see with our own eyes. Just be like, yeah, it's filling up. We're expecting a sellout tonight. Because you know that in the post-fight, yeah, and the crowd was great. You could say, the place, is not even half full yet. It's the second fight, but it's already loud as hell in here. Like, you could say things that are truthful and sell the product.
I love Joe Rogan saying, oh, I love going back to a place once a year. Like, it gets the crowd really excited because they've been waiting for a long time. Like, did you imagine if you didn't come back once a year and you went to other places who don't get UFCs, how crazy, and you actually gave them a pay-per-view level card, how excited it would be?
Yeah. It would be very easy for me. Like, it would be 5 minutes work for me to just go and look at what's the biggest city in the United States that the UFC has not been to in 5 years. What's the biggest city in the world, like in a country they've been to that the UFC has not been to in 5 years? Like,
off the top of your head, what do you think it is? They've been to LA, they've been to New York.
Pittsburgh. UFC hasn't been to Pittsburgh in.
That's the biggest one.
And the thing is, like, when you get to the Midwest, Pittsburgh, it's close to Cleveland. It's close to Columbus. Like everything's kind of tight there.
Okay.
UFC, you go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's right across the river from Kentucky. Like,
there you go. We got to do it. We got to do it.
Those are cities with like 1 million, 2 million people.
There you go. We got to have a UFC Pittsburgh card. That's what we are pushing for the next big period. UFC Pittsburgh. All right. And how about international? You got a city international? So some of you said your caveat was somewhere they've been to, though. Like, you can't throw Moscow.
But I mean, go to some place in the UK other than London and Manchester. Like, go to Liverpool. Like, your biggest stars from the UK right now are from Liverpool. Go to Liverpool.
Where's that's a country? UK? That's the area?
It's a little like that.
You said somewhere other than London and what was it? London and what?
And Manchester.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, like,
there's other parts.
There are. Fuck. Like, you never went to Ireland while Conor McGregor was your biggest star. Go now before your current crop of Irish stars start. Like, you're literally missing out on packing stadiums.
He doesn't want to do stadium shows. So he's so worried about weather and all. Like,
he's not worried about weather. It's that they get the same check. They get the same check from Paramount, whether the card was in a television studio.
He's been saying it for I don't know. I don't. You've been asked about stadium shows so much. Why don't you just give us one, and then see how it goes. And if it sucks, don't do it again. But give us one. You've been asked so many times. Just go fuck it. Give what they want.
Yeah.
Go put it in Foxborough Stadium. Of course, I'm trying to get one near me. All right, you have any other ones?
I mean, no.
All right, I'll give you some. DC saying that he was a huge Three Stooges fan, but then didn't know which Stooge gets poked in the eye. Like, dude, seriously. You could just ask, like, which Stooge got poked in the eye, and then just went with it. You have to go off, oh, I love the Stooges. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Here's a good dude. Seriously, Chris Padilla's coach. Like, dude, seriously, nice job. Yeah, the shit he was saying.
Oh,
Like,
it was
he's
amazing.
He's light skinned.
I mean, that's a whole conversation that I am not qualified to jump into and gatekeep. But the fact that DC got a little mad about it, as you know, a middle melanized African American, was pretty funny. Yeah, and then saying, "Oh, he's just doing judo shit now," when he wasn't even doing judo shit. Just he missed a punch and ended up sort of half clinching with him.
Yeah.
Like,
it was so good. Also, he was so loud. I had a couple of the ones you already said. How about John Anik? And you know John Anik's the man, but John Anik claiming that Paulo Costa's biggest win was Luke Rockhold. Dude, seriously? Like, not Yoel Romero? Like, the ghost of Luke Rockhold was his biggest win?
Like, you could argue that letting Luke Rockhold make it to the end of that fight was actually one of his more disappointing performances.
Exactly. I remember that. They were like, oh, God. That's when everyone was giving up on Paulo Costa. What are you talking about?
Like, I mean, that would be like if Pitbull beat Pico tonight without knocking him out and everyone was like, oh, that's Pitbull's best win.
Best
win.
Like,
no, it would have been weird that he didn't knock him out in 90 seconds.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the Bulls and the Bears. The Bulls and the Bears are a stock market resident. You want to be on the Bulls list. You do not want to be on the Bears list. We do it hockey style, 3, 2, 1. Let's go negative first. All right.
Okay.
And, I'll let you kick it off.
All right, we're going negative?
Yeah.
All right. Negative. Randy Brown. You had been one of the hotter guys in that division over the last few years. You hadn't been perfect, but you had turned a corner. Maybe be the next guy to pull out from being mid-card action fighter to actual fringe contender. This was a huge step back because he just kind of got beat everywhere by Kevin Holland.
Two losses in a row, too. They lost 3 out of 4. Yeah, not good for Randy Brown. He was a favorite, too. I think everybody was taking him to beat Kevin Holland.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was pretty straightforward. Bear. Yuri Prochazka. He's not even my top bear. Okay. But there was a huge argument 2 hours ago at the beginning of this stream over whether he was a noble, if naive, samurai or just a goofball who pissed away an obvious, easy title fight win. Whichever it is, he may not even get immediately back into a chance to win it back. And for a guy that's as unpredictable as him, that means he may never make it back.
And one thing, he's lost 3 title fights in a row. One thing we didn't talk about is his chin. Like, we kind of raised over, like, his chin is really cracking. I mean, he's been dropped and knocked out in a bunch of, all 3 of those fights he's been knocked out.
If that's what his chin was like like a few fights ago, Dominic Reyes might have been fighting for a title tonight. Like, Dominic Reyes lit up Prochazka for a while in their fight. So that's my number 2. Number 1, Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker. Regardless of who you thought won the fight, they both lost because this night was just primed for a light heavyweight to step up and make themselves the next guy. And these guys both just push themselves to the back of the line. It takes a lot for Rogan and Anik to just flat out say, this fight sucks without any euphemism or prettying it up. Just, this fight sucks. And they said that, and they were right. Yeah.
All right. I agree with all those. Yuri was my number 1. So I'll give you 3 different ones. He would be higher on the list, but he was in the fight of the night and fight of the year, and he's getting extra money because of that. But still, he has now lost 3 out of his 5 fights. Obviously, I'm talking about Curtis Blades. He is not. There was a time this guy was I don't want to say, he was like a dark horse, the sleeper pick. Like, if someone wanted to be like a hipster and take someone to win a heavyweight, oh, this is Curtis Blades here. Now, nobody's doing that now. Nobody's taking Curtis Blades, and that's why he's lost 3 out of his 4. My number 2, Patricio Pitbull. He's lost 4 out of his last 6 fights. The big rivalry, which, by the way, the rivalry with Pitbull Pico was overblown. I saw so many people like, oh, we finally get Pitbull versus Pico. When was that rumored in Bellator? When was that they were never in the same Pico never reached that peak to get he kept like tripping himself. It's like,
Yeah.
When did we make this like the freaking George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva dream fight that we didn't get, or
Yeah.
John Jones, Tom Aspinall dream fight we didn't get? Like, no,
No.
it was Pico's teammate AJ McKee was the rival with Pitbull. It was never Pico.
Yeah, that's more like saying, oh, George Santiago versus Anderson Silva was the fight we really wanted, and then when he came over, from Pride, he just like shit the bed in 3 fights and was gone.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, we really wanted Will Brooks versus Benson Henderson. Like no, we it was never going to happen.
Yeah. And my number one, anytime you lose your zero, you always kind of land up on my list. He might have a broken arm or something on top of it. He's up there in age. Luckily for him, he's in the right division, but Azamat Murzakanov, not a good night. This is the chance to win, get a title shot. Instead, he got a knockout loss. Let's go to the Bulls. Now, the Bulls, you want to be on this list. These are the people whose stock is rising. I'll go first this time. I'm going to go with a guy we just talked about. I'm going to go with Aaron Pico. I mean, he's on a 1-fight winning streak, so take that for what it's worth. I mean, technically it's not a streak. If you, he's won 1 fight. It's just the eyeball test. He passed the eyeball test tonight, and the improvements and the changes. There's a lot of people jumping. I was holding on to that train. I was one of the last people on it, but it's starting to get crowded again. Number 2, I'm going to go with Josh Hokett. I know a lot of people are going to put Josh Hokett number 1. I mean, a Star Wars born this week. Yeah. Let's whole week, but especially this weekend. I still think he does some stupid stuff. But I think the stick will land a little bit now because we know how good of a fighter is and how exciting he can be. So I think people will enjoy it a little bit more. But number 1, it's kind of my rule. You win a UFC title, you're in the record books forever. You have like a memory that we're all going to talk about this wild. Yeah, I don't know how many times Olberg's going to defend the title, but we're all going to remember when he won the title. On one foot, on one leg, I should say. Carlos Olberg, new UFC champion. He's my number 1 Bull. What do you got?
I agree with all yours. I will just kind of throw on to the pile Cub Swanson. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You can't script it much better than that. That's as simple as you can put it. Family there, storybook ending, like some small kids of his there looking at him through those adorable thick glasses. Like there's clearly an eye gene in the Swanson family, and not even anything to make him cry because he came out of it without a mark on him. Beautiful stuff. And you did not name Paulo Costa, did you?
No, he was on. He was like 5th or 6th, but yeah,
like very different tracks to get where they are. But Paulo Costa won a fight, kind of like Aaron Pico, in uncontroversial fashion at just the right time. That it's might be the most meaningful win of his career. Yeah. Like Paulo Costa, watch how many people he jumps in line just from being the right guy on a night that light heavyweight kind of crapped itself.
Yeah, I'm calling for him to fight for the title next, so definitely. Yeah. You have any other ones?
No, I was just going to add those 2 is all. I mean, Tatiana Suarez, I'll throw in as an honorable mention. She's another one that just the right win at the right time. Reminded us who she was, or really reminded us who she could be.
Yeah, she looked good. I'll give you one more honorable mention. How about I poked point deductions? It happened twice tonight where guys got poked in the eyes, and the referees actually took a point. So nice job. Now we got to get fence grabs now. There's a couple fence grabs. We got to get. To me, the fence grab is worse than the eye poke. Obviously, not the effect, but you could accidentally poke someone in the eye. I mean, 99% of the time it's accident, unless you're Chuck Liddell and John Jones. But all right, I purposely left this closer to the end because I think it's a very hard category tonight. Ben, do we have the awards?
We have the awards.
Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. I'm assuming 2 performances and definitely a fight of the night tonight.
Yes.
Okay. No brainer. We're not going to debate it. We're not going to waste our time with the fight of the night. It's the heavyweight fight.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. All right. Do you agree? I have 2 ideas for the performance bonuses, But I'll say this: there's about 5 or 6 who could make an argument.
I actually don't agree with the performance bonuses.
Okay. Then how about this? Even though you'll spoil it to me, but that's fine. Give me what you would have said your performance bonuses would have been if you were giving them out.
I would send Cub Swanson away with a nice little going away package because on top of everything else,
no brainer.
It was the best single performance of the night. He absolutely dusted a decent fighter
in a pick 'em fight. Absolutely no brainer.
Yeah. And the other, I mean, there's no spectacular finish there, but Pico's is one of the best performances of the night.
Was pretty damn good. Pico's was pretty. All right, so to me, Cub Swanson's a no brainer. I mean, he has to get a bonus. I mean, like what? I mean, that was unbelievable. Like you said, you couldn't have scripted better. When you dream of the president's there, your wife's looking smoking, and she's got the kids there. And God, what's better? You not get the smallest cut in your face. Like what's better than that? Get the video package, everything. The one also, and this is one I think might not have got, or you disagreed with. I'm still giving it to Olberg. Hopping on 1 foot and getting a knockout. I'm giving it to Olberg. To me, that's pretty spectacular.
I don't love that one just basically because he was doing it after his opponent gave him a free life, but I don't hate that one. I hate the UFC doubling up on Hokit.
They gave Hokit 2 of them? Why? But he still was very close to losing.
Yeah.
So they gave Hokit 2.
I mean, it was an impressive performance, but if you want an impressive, like a surprising impressive performance without getting a finish, give Pico the money.
You know what? That probably had a lot more to do with agreeing to fight on the White House. It probably was like somehow it would get mentioned to Trump that Derek Lewis and all that. He's like, oh, I'd love to have Luque. Oh, I'd love this Lewis to fight that guy. And then UFC's like, let's see what we can do. I think that's probably has a lot more to do with it than, obviously I'm conspiracy theorying it right now, but my conspiracy theory, I think it's right. All right, so Hokit got one, and then Swanson, I'm assuming, got the other one.
No, Olberg and
Olberg
Hokit got the 2. Yeah.
How do you not give Swanson something? Come on.
I mean, here's hoping they give him something. But
yeah, guy starting his new life outside of fighting,
our man, JSX 1133, that would be Sherdog associate editor Jay Petrie. Word is that Trump asked why Lewis wasn't on the White House. Here's the thing.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
There have been literally dozens of winning UFC fighters that have begged to get on that card and presumably would have done it for free or for their agreed purse. You didn't need to give Hokit a double bonus to get him to do it. Yeah,
but it might have been something where they're like, hey, Hokit, they might not have made a deal with it, but it might have been like, oh, we're happy, let's give him. But come on, how do you look and not give Swan? But you know what?
This is where the fact that the UFC Freedom 250 is unregulated might come into play. There's been a whole thing where the DC Athletic Commission is not really being consulted on it, and to the point where Sherdog is a record keeping entity is like, are we going to enter all these fights as exhibitions? Because they're literally going to be unsanctioned fights in a sanctioned area. If the UFC put on fights in Nevada without sanctioning it through the Nevada State Athletic Commission and thereby bypassing official weigh-ins, bypassing medicals, bypassing drug tests, what will we do? They've now brought in the Association of Boxing Commissions to do some form of oversight. So, I mean, I'm sure they're going to go down as official fights, but
no, they should have had it freaking all the way with America 4th of July. Bobby Kennedy Jr. should have been freaking doing people's medicals. That's what they should have been. Robert Kennedy should have been doing. So that's how I should have went.
Well, then you better bring Crazy Horse in for this card because all the fighters will be required to be on cocaine. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Dude, get rid of the referees and have Marco Rubio as a referee and have Ivanka as the freaking ring card girl. Just do it all the way. All right. Grade, I'm giving this an A. to me.
I'm giving it an A too. You know, not an A plus. Like just the fact that the headliner ended in weirdness takes a little off of it for me. But it's still the card of the year so far. There's not even a close second.
What is this? Two out of the last 3 cards we gave an A?
Yeah.
What's the last card we gave it? Was it the Pfeiffer card?
Seattle?
The Pfeiffer card we gave an A, didn't we?
Which one?
The Joe Pfeiffer card? We gave that one an A, right?
Yeah.
Is that the one we gave an A to? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it was Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, UFC Seattle.
So
that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So 2 of the last 3 people. I mean, everyone's the lowest grade so far on in the chat.
See a B plus from Hyman report.
Yeah,
which I don't hate that.
He's being a hipster. He's being a hipster. So, all right, guys, we have covered all 12 fights in the most in-depth recap show in the entire world. We thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. We will be previewing UFC. I'm assuming it's in Vegas. Gilbert Burns. No, it's not. It's
Canada. It's UFC Winnipeg.
Good Lord, poor Canadians. God.
They would not bring this card to Montreal, or Toronto.
Yeah.
This on paper, this card is rough. Like when I just said the UFC should go to like Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or something, this is the kind of card they'd get. Yeah.
Pittsburgh said no. All right, UFC Winnipeg Burns versus Malott. We'll be previewing all that, and we'll be recapping it a week from now. Thank you guys so much. I didn't, dude. What am I talking about? We didn't do the listener of the night. Who's your listener of the night?
Oh, I gave out my listener of the night within like the first 10 minutes of the show. I think, God, was it RC or Mr. C? Guys, like somebody just killed me. I need to make a note when I decide.
I gave it because if you give me a compliment, you're gonna get the listen to that. I'm gonna go with Astral Karate 10. That's my listener of the night. He got the fast pass. He learned how to get the special treatment. So, anyways, guys, there you have it. I'm losing my voice. I got to go to bed. So I'm on fumes. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in a week.